And we are live.
Hello. Hello. Everybody out there. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to PM and the PM. Pong and Mav and the PM. Another Thursday night. Oh, wow. I don't even know where I was going to start tonight. It feels like it's been forever, first of all, since I podcasted. Great to be back in the chair here. It's been a week since I did not do Xbox Ultimate last week. And then obviously no living split screen. And the shop is still on hiatus as well. So I am feeling extra rusty right now. But what a week. what, I mean,
Interesting.
we don't have a lot of news, but we finally got the big reveal, obviously, of the Switch 2. And man, did it feel or have some shades of the Xbox One. The way people got excited. And I'm talking about Nintendrones, right? I'm talking about true Nintendo fans. And then flipped, some, not all, of course, but some flipped by the time all the information came out. We're going to obviously get into the Switch 2. You guys see the thumbnail, having a little fun there. But yeah, you guys might get some rants. I see some of the chat calling for rants. You'll probably get some rants because you've heard me talk about how Nintendo is just another one of the greedy ass companies. And well, people are getting smacked around who didn't believe that a little bit. So we're going to have some fun with that tonight. A lot to get into. A lot of Nintendo news. Obviously, it's going to be Nintendo heavy tonight. Got some other stuff, smaller topics we could probably get into as well. But yeah, man, it's been a heck of a week. We got some cool rumors actually a little bit too later that came out just the past couple days on top of things. So, but before we get into the main part of the show, first things first, I am going to get to my co-host here. But every once in a while, we always at this point, you know, obviously with social media, get you know, well-known people, famous people that pass away. And I do from time to time mention them here. I don't catch them all. Sometimes I do forget, and I mean to do it. But I gotta say, Val Kilmer, Godspeed, good sir. That's a big one. Val is a once in a generation type talent. I know not everybody's going to agree with that. And obviously he's got a lot of stories about how hard he was to work with in Hollywood. But for me, the list of movies going all the way back to Top Secret, and yes, I watched Top Secret back in the day, all the way up until Top Gun Maverick, his last film here. He has some of the greatest performances that I have ever personally had the pleasure of watching on film. And so Godspeed, Val Kilmer, and rest in peace, good sir. Appreciate you bringing your talent and sharing it with us this entire time, because man, that's a hard one to swallow right there. 65 years old, obviously everybody knows about his throat cancer, and he supposedly, I think he passed away from pneumonia, but obviously he's had lots of health problems. I will suggest, if you guys have any interest, I watched the Val documentary quite a while ago when it first came out, because I do really like the guy. That Val documentary is phenomenal. If you want to see kind of his story, he's got home videos from back in the day. He used to videotape everything, like when he was younger. So he's got some of the old childhood stars on videotape and them horsing around on set. Like it's really a cool story that brings it full circle, and he kind of gets to tell his whole story. And obviously his son is the one who narrates it as him. And because obviously he's lost most of his voice, he was using a speaker box for the last part of his life here. So, but yeah, just rest in peace, Val Kilmer. But let's get to my host here. The man, the myth, the legend, the CEO of the Fun Speculation Network. That's right, the one and only Fun Speculation himself, aka Mav. What is going on, brother? How you been this week, man? Any thoughts on Val or anything else you got going on?
We got Iceman, Doc Holliday, it's
Bro,
just
the
like
Saint. Oh my
Saint.
God.
Yeah, Saint was great. We recently actually watched Heat, just like a week or two ago.
Greatest gun scene in history.
Yeah, it was just, and he started it too.
Yep.
And
yep.
So yeah,
no hesitation. No hesitation.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, just yeah, it was great. I've seen a lot of people talk about his Batman 2 is like underrated and stuff. Like,
Yes,
yeah, there's
I
a lot.
actually did like him there too. Yeah.
Yeah, just like I always liked him too,
Doors, Jim
man.
Morrison. He was Jim Morrison. He
Yeah,
should have won an Oscar for that. It's one of my favorite films. I'm a big Doors fan. Sorry, I don't mean to jump on you. But people don't realize he had to undergo um, counseling for a year to get rid of Jim Morrison because he embodied Jim Morrison so much. He was one of those actors.
yeah,
And he had to go to counseling for like a year to get rid of Jim Morrison out of his head. He was Jim Morrison and wasn't even nominated and should have won the award. But anyways, continue, sir.
yeah. No, man, it's just like a great actor that was in a lot of stuff. We lost a lot of great celebrities the last few years. I think it's like a part of us all getting older too, because like the people we grew up with start passing away. Like when we were kids,
That's
we
the
hear about
part.
some of the names and stuff, and it was like, oh yeah, I know kind of who that is or whatever. But now it's like the people that we grew up with, and
Yep.
it's like they hit a lot harder. It's been a lot. Earlier
Yeah.
this not too long ago, George Foreman also had passed
Yes.
away, and
Yes. I missed
yeah,
that too.
so
Yeah. Yep.
it definitely sucks seeing that. As he's much too young. He could still be working. If he
He
didn't
could have.
have all those health problems and stuff. But yeah, it sucks, man. But other than that, it's been kind of just a busy week, working a lot. Been still playing some Assassin's Creed Shadows. Still
Nice.
absolutely in love with that game. A
Cool.
little bit of Balatro here and there.
Nice.
I had realized. So I talked about this a little bit on FSP. But you know how I told you, like, okay, yeah, I bought Assassin's Creed Shadows, but then I wanted to play it on PC too, so I ended up going ahead and doing the Ubisoft Plus thing, right?
Sure.
Well, so what I realized, Pong, is that if you have Game Pass Ultimate and you have Ubisoft Plus, any of the
Mhm.
Ubisoft games that are in the stream your own game feature, you don't need to own them. So if you just have Ubisoft Plus and Game Pass Ultimate,
Yep,
you
yep.
can play Assassin's Creed Mirage, Star Wars Outlaws via stream your own
Mhm.
game and all that kind of stuff too.
Interesting.
So
Oh,
yeah, you
that's
can PC, Xbox, or stream. Which I didn't know the
hmm,
streaming aspect of the stream your own game was included with the Ubisoft Plus part, but it is. So that's just a public service announcement. If that game is supported by stream your own game and you have a Ubisoft Plus subscription and Game Pass Ultimate subscription, you don't need to buy Assassin's Creed Shadows if you want to stream it. Um, which I didn't know. So it's cool.
that's here. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's like Xbox Anywhere with those two services. So yeah, but I noticed I have access to Star Wars Outlaws, that way. Which obviously I knew I would on console and PC, but it's cool just seeing it there to stream also. Because I do that quite a bit in bed at night, like I talk about all the time. But streaming and yeah, and which I'm going to talk about a little bit later too, because there's some certain decisions I've been thinking about making and regarding devices in the future to purchase potentially, and that's going to come into play here
Strange.
a little
Strange.
bit. So yeah, dude, it's been an interesting week. That Switch 2 reveal. I know we're going to get into it a bunch, so I don't want to
Yeah, we
talk
are.
about it too much now. But it's been an interesting week in news, and I went through an arc myself with that I'll talk about.
Yes.
I went through an arc myself because I was like, okay, oh,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it's oh man, yeah. There's specific things like I know there's I've seen a couple people saying, "Are we gonna get a Mav rant at this show?" Like I better be a
Yeah.
Mav because I made a post that's just like fuck Nintendo, right?
Right. Right.
And but there's one specific response that I've been getting from a lot of people, and one I've been seeing a lot on social media that is one of the most asinine things I think I've ever seen in
Mm.
regards to defense of a company. And
Mm.
I am going to have a field day going in on that. So I can't wait to talk about it later.
I have a feeling, Mav, if you hadn't been so busy with real life work,
Oh, I
which
would have
probably
streamed that
you would have had
day.
a Mavcast,
Yeah.
and you would have had a Mavcast.
Yeah. I probably would have been two. It probably would have been two. Yeah. Probably would have been, but I've just been too busy, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I know you have, man. So, yeah, no, I feel you and I understand. Obviously, because I was, like I said, I wasn't going to purchase it day one, but I was planning on purchasing the Switch too. So we're going to get into
yeah.
it because obviously, yeah, we got some things to say about this, and we got a lot to talk about there too as well. Anything else on the docket that you've been playing at all or anything?
Oh,
What's been
I mean, just the usual stuff. Like I've been pretty busy, so I've been spending most of my time with Assassin's Creed Shadows. But I tried Adamfall.
Yeah, I heard you talk about this, so
Yeah,
I did
and I
I did
mean, I didn't give it a whole big of a chance yet. You know,
I heard you.
I
I heard you.
I wasn't into it at the beginning of the game
Sure.
as much as I hoped I would be, and there was very specific reasons why.
Uh-huh.
And it's not to say it's like a bad game or anything. It's just was things that were taking it out of the experience for me that I was hoping for, right?
Right.
So, but it's one that I'll give another chance at some point. It's just with the other games I have right now, it's like it's hard to go from Assassin's Creed Shadows to that right now
Yeah,
too.
I could see that.
It's a
That
very
was
kind
my
of
first
thing.
thought when I heard you. I was like, I bet you a
Yeah.
lot's got to do with playing Assassin's Creed Shadows right now. I can imagine.
And I know that too. Like is
Yeah.
playing that and then playing Assassin's Creed Shadows is kind of like yeah, I need to go back to the other thing, right? So,
I get
um,
it.
yeah, there's that. I'd play Adamfall. It's one that I could see enjoying at some point, but we'll see down the line.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
besides that, yeah, I mean, there's been uh we got Tetris Effect Connected on sale because it was finally
Ooh,
on sale. It's been on my wish list for a long time. I used to play it in Game
nice.
Pass all the time.
Yeah. I
But
heard
we just,
that.
you know, sometimes I'll put games in the wish list
Gorgeous
and
game.
then and when they go on sale, we'll pick it back up. So eventually we got that again because we all enjoy playing that. But yeah, just kind of running the gamut on some random stuff and
Love
not
it.
deep diving too much into anything, but there are some things coming up soon that
Mm.
I am really looking forward to. Oh, what was it? What did oh, yeah, I streamed Declare Obscure Expedition 33. I also
Yeah.
have Wreckfest 2 that I need to
Oh,
play and I want to play. I haven't had a chance to play yet. So that I will get to that probably, hopefully this weekend. Looking forward to it.
Depka's asking, is AC Shadows playable through the cloud if I have Ubisoft Plus?
Yes, it
Well,
is. That's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah.
yep.
Because it supports stream your own game.
Yeah, I wanted you to answer because you played it and
Yeah,
you know, you tried it.
so
So
originally I didn't know that because they didn't advertise it. They just said it was part of stream your own game, right? And I haven't had Ubisoft Plus since the stream your own game feature has been there, right? But any of the Ubisoft Plus games that are also in stream your own game, Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Prince of Persia, their newer one that had come out, all of those games are available to play via stream your own game. So if you have Ubisoft Plus and you have a Game Pass Ultimate subscription, you can stream it via stream your own game via Xbox app, which is really cool and it looks great, plays great. Also, I've been playing some like that.
I love her chat. You guys are amazing. You guys come in here with so much tons of support and great comments on just being here with us, and we love you all obviously. And then you guys start talking about stuff that obviously we're going to talk about, but you guys come up with the same stuff that we kind of that's why I love these communities that we've built, because a lot of us are on the same wavelength sometimes, and it's just awesome to see it pop up there before we even have a chance to talk about it. So I love you all. Special shout out to Free Bear, by the way. Free Bear, thank you for joining us tonight. Obviously, I'm gonna do name shout outs in just a bit here, but Free Bear said, Free Bear walked here and said, "You guys always put me in a better mood. I needed a bad day." Hey, brother Free Bear, glad we can help you with that, man. I know what the bad days are like. I think we all know what bad days are like. So glad you could be here, and hopefully we could put a little smile on your face or at least entertain you for a little bit, man. And just remember, whatever you're going through, Free Bear, it's always just temporary. No matter how big it is just a temporary moment in time. And the more you can remember that and hold on to that, the better it kind of gets a little bit if you can do it. So, but I hope everything's good with you, Free Bear, and thanks for being here, man. Um, so yeah, man, my week. Yeah, I'm not playing games as much as I want to. Obviously, I kind of alluded to this that this year was going to be like this, and it is kind of just turning out that way. But I still obviously get my time in here. But Adamfall. I am in Adamfall right now. I've also played a little bit of Death Stranding. I will be kind of reversing that again. I'll be playing Adamfall and Death Stranding at the same time here coming up. But I'll probably reverse them. I want to get back to Death Stranding. But I have put my majority of my time into Adamfall. I've touched Battlefield 2042 again. I've been playing some of that with the new season that they got out. That game feels great right now. People, it's not the Battlefield people wanted. We all know that. It's been long enough. We're hopefully getting the one that we do want from Zampella and company, and maybe another surprise, which we're going to talk about, that popped up. But Battlefield 2042, you can get it super cheap now. If you're just looking for a first-person shooter, go jump into and you don't want to play COD, Battlefield 2042 plays great. It's really good. And you can find matches really quickly in that game. So touch on that. Mav, I've got all the ages re-downloaded now because of the
Nice.
updates coming out. So
Yeah,
Age
there's
of
a lot.
Mythology I've had, right? Age 2 Definitive Edition's getting another massive update this month. And well, Age 4 has on April 8th the Knights Templar and House of Lancaster showing up. I already pre-ordered that expansion, so I re-downloaded Age 4 as well. So that's in my lineup again, and I'll be playing those as well because, yeah, anytime you give me the Knights Templar, and they got some special stuff going on. So does House of Lancaster. House Lancaster's got some cool buildings that I want to check out, but
Yeah.
Knights Templar, of course, I'm going to be, yep. We're doing some
Yeah, I
Knights
think
Templar.
they had like the manor or something like
Yes, the
that.
manors.
Yeah, it looks
Yes,
really
bro.
cool,
And the
bro.
Knights Templar they've got their, I forget what they're actually called. They're their castles, but not, I'm trying to remember what they call. Hold on. I think I got it up here right here. Um, the fortresses.
Oh,
You
okay.
can, yeah, and you can build fortresses all over the map. And so it provides inspiration. So it gives you bonuses to troops that are close by, and acting as landmarks to guide pilgrims in their travels as well. So their fortresses are super powerful too. Oh, bro, I can't wait. So, anyways, I'm excited for that. Got those downloaded. And let me see, what else did I touch this week? I think that's been about it. Just touch on those. But Adamfall, I want to talk about Adamfall for a second, because obviously I'm in a different boat than you because I'm not playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. I just came off of 80 hours of Avowed before I dropped it and uninstalled it, and won't be going back to it. So Adamfall's been high on my list. You guys know this. I talk about Adamfall nonstop. Rebellion. I love Rebellion. I love the Sniper Elite series. I really love when devs break out and try a new type of IP. So I was ready to rock and roll on Adamfall, and I just say straight up front, I'm having a good time. Adamfall is a double A experience. If you're going into this as a triple A experience, it's not a triple A experience. This is a double A experience. This harkens back, and I know if you guys listen to us, you hear this all the time, but it's the truth. This harkens back to the 360 era type games that we used to get of new IP. This is a new IP that I think if it was the 360 era, we would get a follow-up sequel in 2 to 3 years that would build upon this game and be more of a complete, double A moving into triple A experience. That's what used to happen during the 360 PS3 era. That's the things that we're missing right now. This is the thing that some of the industry experts and some of the industry heads at the dev studios and the publishers have been talking about going back to, or at least trying to find a way back to it. This is not some $50 million, $100 million game. Okay. It's not. But what it is a very freaking cool concept for a new IP. And I'm going to tell you, Avowed has great exploration. You guys know I talked about this. It has some of the most rewarding exploration I've seen in a semi-open world game in a long time. I praised Avowed for that, right? And I liked their loot system up to a certain point. That's what I kept playing for, was mainly the exploration. Adamfall doesn't have that rewarding in the way that you're going to find the best stuff, because this is like a survival game. So you guys got to remember that this is part survival. But it does have extremely rewarding exploration to the point, Mav, where this is one of the rare RPGs that I'm not marking I'm not using any of the quest markers.
Mhm.
I'm not turning on,
You're
like,
just walking around. Yeah.
yeah, I am just going, and
Mhm.
I I'm about 8 hours in. right out the gate, right from the start, you have complete freedom of choice.
Mhm.
Okay, complete freedom of choice to do what you want to. Now, I know I heard you, Matt, talk about how the the world looks like you should be able to go certain places, like up these little hills, but you can't. And that was another thing that bothered you. And I get that. I tried the first thing I did when I got in the open world was I probably tried at the exact same spot you did when you were describing it, and I slid back down. And I was like, okay, so it can't just go anywhere. We're gonna be
Yeah.
kind of guided here. Okay, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, well, mine was like this little mound. It wasn't even like
Yeah.
it was just like,
No, yeah,
yeah,
I know.
I was like, it was
I know.
just weird,
I
you know?
It is weird, and this is one of those games, again, double A, I played enough of them
Mhm.
where things that you can jump on in certain spots, you can't jump on in other spots,
Mhm.
like boxes or, that kind of stuff too, and that does get annoying because 'cause you're like, "Well, I should be able to jump up there, blah, blah." It's not, it's hit or miss with this game. That's all fine, but it does give you freedom of choice from the very get-go and just continues from there. I walked out in the open world, and I went, "Oh, nothing's guiding me." I picked up the phone, listened to the weird voice, and that was it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, let me go this way. Let's see
Yeah.
what's over here. And that's the way I have been playing this game. I know where the main town is, kind of, or where part of the town that's kind of where the people are gathered a little bit more are, but I haven't gone in there yet. How many hours in? I'm going all over the map. I'm fighting groups of guys with underpowered weapons because I haven't found an upgrade table yet. I'm collecting all this shit. I'm doing all this trading because it allows me to do it that way. I went to one of the main places that you got to go called the Interchange. I'm not going to spoil things, but there's this building called the Interchange is kind of the hub right now when you get into this world of like where important things are supposed to happen. And I did that like almost right away within my first couple hours. Like I got there and like it opened up the story. And the story, I'm it's one of those interesting, it's been done a billion times before, right? You know, nuclear fallout, dystopian kind of world, shit's going bad, radiation is causing freaks of nature to appear. Like this all been done before. But the setup to this story, and because of the freedom it gives you, and because there's no heavy-handed guiding you in any way, shape, or form, you get clues everywhere. You get a
Yeah.
notebook that opens up and you get clues. Like you should see my notebook, like the pages of clues for all these individual like side stories and deals. That's all they give you. And so like the way they're kind of piecemealing out the story to me has got me more and more intrigued as I've gone on. Whereas Avowed went downhill as I continued to play it. This one just keeps going. And I'm like, okay, well, what the hell's gonna happen? Like, where am I supposed to? Well, okay, well, I met this new person. This new person said some interesting, cool shit. Okay, now I got another side mission to complete. And then on top of it, at any given moment, Mav, if I don't like the NPC who's giving me a side mission, I can just go ahead and kill him off. Oh, okay. I love these types of games where they do give you the freedom to do this.
Yeah.
I posted videos about it. I posted a video of two. I posted two videos of me killing named NPCs, showing you guys that it can be done. The mission can continue. You can actually complete the mission without the named NPC being alive, which is dope. Some games that have allowed you to do this in the past just end the complete side mission. You never get to complete it. This one allows you to finish them off. I haven't found one yet where you can't finish it. They tend to have interesting things on their body or things that you need on their bodies if you choose to kill them. You can kill off the traitors, right? And get your stuff back after you trade them a bunch of shit. You can do that in this game if you want to. Now, they're not going to come back, and they do wind up refreshing their items so you can find new shit on them if you keep them alive, but you could do it that way if you want to. I love these types of games. This is not groundbreaking, oh my God, game of the year, seal it right now. It's not. Okay, it's not. It has its problems. Mav brought up some problems, and I agree with him. The AI, again, AI doesn't bother me. I played dumb, I played super smart AI. It's cool when AI is super smart and gives you a challenge, but it's okay to have dumb AI that's just kind of in the way, but
Yeah.
it's fodder because it's kind of fun figuring out how you're going to kill them. This AI is weird because Mab, I think you said it. They can see you from about 300 yards out,
Hmm.
and they will call you out. And then there's an aggression meter that they have. And if you back away, they won't attack you. If you pull your weapon and point it at them, even from 300 yards out, they're coming. Okay, that's it. It's on. It's a fight. They can be extremely aggressive, 2 or more, and you're not ready for them. They can beat your ass down, and they will if they get close enough, or if one's got like a bow and the other one comes in for the melee kill. Of course, as with all or with a lot of AI, they are deadly from long range if they have weapons. Okay, if they got a bow or a gun or whatever, you got to be moving or you're getting hit automatic, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a critical shot. So, no experience points in this game, so you're not going up levels. You have to collect books, magazines, and such that give you skill points. You also
I
have
like the comic books.
the comic books are dope, bro.
Yeah.
You have to collect other books to open up more of the skill tree, for you to then put skill points into that skill tree. So it's not a leveling system. It's not your classic RPG style system. I don't mind it. I actually find it okay. I thought I'd be finding more skill point books than I have been, which is a little weird because I am exploring deep into this world. So that's been a little bit slower than I thought it would be, but it's not bad. But overall, right now, Adamfall is an extremely enjoyable game. I love what Rebellion has done with this game. And I hope, again, Rebellion's just the little they're just one of those studios that I will always root for. I hope they do a second one of this, and I hope they build off of this. Because I think the concept is really cool. I think they should get more budget. I think they should probably get a bigger team, a little bit bigger. I'm not talking about we don't need $100 million
Yeah.
Adam 2. Okay, I'm not
Well, it's
saying that.
doing pretty well for them, I think. All right, so far.
It's doing they've had 1.5 million players.
Yeah.
So again, you're not going to find out about the buy ratio. They probably are approaching 2 million now. In the middle of all the games that are out right now, that's actually not too bad. Obviously, Game Pass is helping them out. It's not too bad. It's not going to be a game that everybody looks at and goes, "Oh, I need to play that," because the graphics, they're last gen graphics. I'm not going to sit here on Series X, their last
Yeah,
gen
it
graphics.
runs smooth though, which is good.
It runs
Yeah.
smooth. I have had zero problems with that whatsoever, but it's not going to catch people's attention like that. It's not that game where everybody's going to go, I have to go play this. Either the idea of the world is going to be like, oh, I'm curious, I got to go check this out, or they're going to be fans of Rebellion like I am and Sniper Elite and go, I'm just going to go try what they've done here. The combat feels nothing like Sniper Elite. I will tell you that much. But the weapons are cool. I wish there was more variety, but there are. I just picked up a assault rifle finally. I found a rusty old assault rifle off of somebody with a scope. So that's definitely updating me. Ammo, again, this is a survival game. Ammo is hard to come by. You are going to run out of ammo. It's one of those things too. So it's just got a cool level of balance to it between survival and kind of RPG. But the freedom, anytime you give me the freedom and it works, because you can get freedom in a lot of games, but it can break the game. This just works, the freedom. I have not killed off everybody. I have made my choices of killing people. I just met another NPC last night before I went to bed, actually. I thought about killing her, and you can save scum in this game too. So you can make just decisions to go back and change them if you want to. I thought about killing her, but then I actually kind of liked her attitude, and it seemed like she's going to really be able to help me down the line with something big that I got to do. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep you around. And I let her stay, and I'm going to take on her mission.
Let
And
somebody live.
yeah, I know. But I'm being, I mean, but I killed the old lady in the manor, right?
Yeah.
Mrs. Rook, who was batshit crazy and thought that this rundown mansion she used to live in, and she's still there, and everybody else is dead around her, and she still thinks that people are living and that they're coming back soon. Yeah, I put her out of her damn misery. I was like, especially after she wouldn't give me the key I needed. to one of the areas of the mansion. She didn't give me the keys. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, Miss Rook. We're gonna put you.
Yeah.
We're gonna put you out of your misery right here."
I think my like issue with the game, because
Yeah.
like I said, I didn't play that much, but like I had the opening sequence, right,
Yeah.
in the bunker or whatever. I'm like, cool,
Yeah.
yeah, and you get to open, and I'm like, oh, awesome. I
Yeah.
had the same reaction you did, like, get to
Yeah.
pick where I want to go. You answer that,
Yeah.
and like, this is a pretty dope opening. And then it was like the series of events
Mhm.
that I went through, like, and it was
Right.
like one thing after another immediately right after that was
Sure.
like a really bad experience, right?
Yep.
And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like right now I'm like, I'm just
Yeah. No, you got
it's like
Assassin's Creed Shadows
I
sitting there,
had
which is playing
you're
smooth as
right. I
shit.
just
And
went back, but like my
yeah.
my one of my biggest gripes in like if for a game that has as much freedom, I hate being taken out of the freedom of movement, right? So when like these little buildings that I wanted to
Mhm.
go in, right?
Yeah.
These little buildings I want to go in, I hate having to hit the fucking button and take me into this slow animation to like go into a crawl space. And it was like every building that I was coming across right there was like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, can I have
Oh,
another way
it
of getting
continues.
in? Like, yeah, and
It
I
continues.
I know. I could tell it was
Okay.
gonna continue. So
Yeah.
that's why I was like, yeah. I
But see, that just brings me back to 360, man. It's like New Vegas. Like New
Yeah,
Vegas,
it's
you
just like, why
you go
make
to
that decision? Like, it's just like I could easily just crouch and walk through instead
I
of
know
like
what
having
you're
to
saying.
hit X and like,
Sure.
okay, now let's wait 2 or 3 seconds for me to actually do this thing, right? I don't like that like canned animation thing, like that it is so repeatedly. It reminds me of like, okay, if you go through like, hey, there's a fake loading screen you have to squeeze between the cracks or whatever of
Right.
walls, you know what I
Right.
mean? And it's like
Yeah, I
I
know.
hate that in games every time because it's like, okay, just wait for this thing and I know what it's doing, but this is like not a loading screen thing. This is just a chosen gameplay mechanic,
Right.
right? And I'm like, why choose that? It just didn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was that. Then not being able to kind of go up small obstacles and stuff. So it was like
Mhm.
that thing, and then the most disappointing thing though, because I was gonna be able to get over that stuff,
Yeah.
was like the first enemy that I come across
I think I heard you talk about it.
was just
Yes.
walking into a wall. He was shouting at me
I've not had that yet.
from super
I've
far
had dumb
away,
AI,
right?
but not that.
Yeah, he was
Okay, yes.
super far away,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
like I could barely see the guy, and he's already yelling at me. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go sneak around. And the whole time he's sneaking around like he can see me. I'm completely out of view, but he does not react whatsoever except with his voice, right?
Yep.
So then I sneak around, I go all the way around and stuff. I do another damn gameplay mechanic to sneak into this little like rock wall area to get like to where I can be behind him and stuff. And then I'm behind him and he's walking away. I'm like, I'm gonna sneak up on this guy, and he's just like walking into a wall like this, like constantly while he's still yelling at me. He's just walking straight into a wall,
Yeah.
and he's still yelling at me like, "I see you. I'm gonna get you." I'm like, "What's going on?" And I
Yep.
just walk up to him like being, "Okay, you're
Mhm.
dead." I was like,
You're done.
"Okay." Like this is from the 1, 2, 3, the like series of events that kind of happened there. I was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna put this
Okay.
down for now, and
Sure.
eventually maybe come back to this because I'm gonna go play Assassin's Creed."
Yeah,
So
and you
it is what it
probably
is.
won't because we got a lot of games coming out, so you
Yeah,
probably won't, but
eventually I will. I
I
love like
yeah.
games where you can go where and kind of go
Yeah.
and do whatever you want and stuff. It's just like feedback for them. This is their first game
Right.
like this,
In this
right?
kind of
So
genre,
it's like these
yes.
little decisions that you'd make like that, like having to hit the X button each time you go into like a building or whatever to like sneak into this little area in a can animation. Like you don't need that. Like just get rid of that. You know, things like that. I think it would be improvement. Make it to where you can walk up small hills. You know, things like that. It should be pretty. You know, it would help the game a lot with the freedom that they're trying to achieve,
Yeah.
right? And the
Oh, I agree.
exploration with
I agree, yeah.
the kind of game it is, like exploring and freedom of choice. Like you don't want to be hamstrung by these like canned things. You know what I mean? So, but other than that, yeah, I'll get back to it eventually.
Cool. No, that's yeah, I think it's interesting, and if you guys are looking for something interesting just to try out, maybe you'll feel like Mav, or maybe you'll feel like me. I would definitely recommend Adamfall. I mean, again, I think it's a cool concept and it's a cool game from a cool studio. Um, check it out. Again, no risk if you got Game Pass. So that's
Yeah,
where I'm at
100%.
with them. So yeah, 100. Oh, I did forget to say too. I am also back on my college football now that you're dropped into
Yeah, it's in
EA.
Game Pass, yeah.
Yeah, now it's in Game Pass. Thank you very much, EA. I love that. I hope they re-signed EA so that they don't ever lose out on that bonus. Because when those games do drop in there, it's nice. And college football is one
Mhm.
I've been waiting on. Obviously, played my full 10 hours of the demo when it first dropped in. And then I've been waiting. So I got back to my Road to Glory. So talk about getting rusty though. So oh my god. Well, because I was in the middle. I was in the middle of a season when my 10 hours was up with Pong Sol, the quarterback at Arizona State, right? So I was in the middle of season, having a hell of a season, Mav. We were 3-2. I had thrown I had more touchdowns than picks. I think I had 15 and 10 at that point or something like that. So I was doing all right. First game back, Mav, 6 interceptions. Jesus, I am so rusty. But we still made the Liberty Bowl, but then we lost in the Liberty Bowl. God,
Ah,
I was mad.
that
I was mad.
sucks.
I know. And I lost some of my good players again. Man, but I do like college football. College football 25 is enjoyable. It's frustrating as hell, but it's enjoyable. All right. Let's get this chat shouted out here, shall we, real quick? All you beautiful people, thank you for joining us on another Thursday night. You are tuned in to the one and only PM and the PM Pong and Mav and the PM every Thursday night right here on the Fun Speculation Network. And I got to let you all know before we get to calling out the names, the one and only, the man right here on the screen next to me gave his own channel a boost because he decided to go ahead, the Fun Speculation.
Yeah.
Man, go in ahead and flew over, got on the court with that easy Luca 5 layup. That's right. He got on the court. He flew overhead, dropped off a bag of coal, got us a new car full of speculators on a nice Thursday evening. Got us up to Mach 2.5 thanks to the one and only Mav, the 5 bomb. Buckle up, everybody. Get ready. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. We got some topics to get into at this point, but let's shout everybody out. We got the one. Did Pong pull the Dak? Yeah, I pulled the Dak Prescott. Excuse me. Yes, that is right, Ray Oid. I did do that. The one and only Free Bear is here. What's going on, Free Bear? Again, thanks for joining us, brother. Poison Maniac is in the house. What's going on, Poison? Thank you for being here. As always, sir, we got Timmy. It's Timmy's in the house. What's going on? It's Timmy. Great to see you, my friend. Always joining the show. We got the Ray Oid, like I just said, in the house. Thanks, Ray, for being here. We got the Dark Zone 2525. What's going on, Dark Zone? Says game prices going up will help Xbox because Game Pass will look really good to the people who don't have an Xbox. Yes and no. We're going to talk about that because those games aren't going to be available on Xbox. So people who want to play Mario and Zelda still have to go pay those exorbitant prices. But we're going to talk about that because Game Pass does look better and better for those of us on this side that like our games over here. But we will get into that. We got the Nam Omar jumping in here. What's going on, Nam? Always great to see you, brother. We got the Def Leopard, of course, joining us. What's going on, Def Leopard? Thank you for being here. We got the Fuzzy, not Belvedere, the Fuzzy Tomato in the house. Fuzzy's always joining us as they really could have picked a better time to launch Adamfall. Yeah. Honestly, the next 2 years, though, the last
gonna be rough.
3 years, there's no good times anymore. Fuzzy, there just isn't, brother. Like, it's every single month. It's almost every 2 weeks now. Like, it's nuts. It's nuts right now. But yes, I do agree. I would have liked to see a better spot, but it's okay. It's okay. Again, I don't think Rebellion, this is not some big budget game. They're trying something new, and I think it's dope. And I think more people will check it out a little bit as time goes by. And I think that's what they can hope for here. I just hope they get another round. I hope they get a second time with Adamfall because I really do think it's cool concept. We got Lydian Master in the house. What's going on, Lydian? Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you so much, sir. Let's see here. Oh, Lydian says he's South of Midnight is great so far in Chapter 5. Yeah, we're going to talk a little South of Midnight because the reviews came out today. Interesting mix, as we've seen quite a bit. Kind of what I expected it was going to be. Steel called this one early. Steel called what this was going to do. But we got some new details from the reviews as well that we may jump into a little bit and talk about South of Midnight. Um, Black Carday, what's going on, Black Carday? Great to see you. We got the Shane G in the house. Shane, always great to see you. Thanks for joining us. We got the Dion Hayes. What's going on, Dion? He says, "Hey guys, great show. Can't wait to play South of Midnight tonight when I get home from the work. The game looks great." Yeah, premium edition is early today. Regular is next Tuesday, right, Mav? If I'm not mistaken, I think that's how it goes. If you get the premium edition, early access is today for South of Midnight, correct?
Yeah, and the reviews it's like 78 on Meta right now.
Yeah,
Open
yeah.
Critics 78.
Mhm.
Kind of mixed.
Yep,
I think the majority of the reviews say like a lot of the the world, the character, the story, the
yeah,
songs, all that stuff is great. The
great.
combat and gameplay is kind of like gets a little bit stale over time.
Yep.
Not groundbreaking with that, which is kind of what we saw from all the previews and stuff. And overall, it seems like it's just a fun game, and looking forward to giving it a shot.
Step up for compulsion for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna give it a shot. The minute I saw Clobriel say there's even more platforming than expected, I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to try it. It will be downloaded. I told you all. I kind of knew it was gonna be that type of game, but I was thinking maybe they didn't put as much in as it looks like. But Clobriel said there's more platforming. Well, I'm gonna be out with that, but I do want to try it. I do want to check it out because it's an interesting concept, and I love the atmosphere that this game is bringing. So I will check it out. So I'll have some, impressions for y'all next week when it goes live. I'm obviously not buying the premium edition, but anybody who is, enjoy the early access. Again, a lot of people are having great time with it. Some of the screenshots are absolutely gorgeous in this. Love the art direction. So I can't wait to play it. Let's see, brother from another Psychonauts, of course, on the front lines of GameStop in here. What's going on, brother? Psychonauts, thank you for being here. Great to see you as well. Shane G had an interesting comment. Said couldn't get into Adamfall, but just finished chapter 2 of South of Midnight. Very good and intriguing, sucking me in. Perfect, Shane G. That's what I love to hear, man. Again, we got backup games galore, man. If one ain't hitting, we got like 1,000 others to play right now. It's freaking nuts. So good, man. Glad to hear it. And again, yeah, not Adamfall's not gonna be for everybody. So, but I'm glad South of Midnight was there. Dizzy Delta 99. What's going on, Dizzy Delta? First Berserker demo is so hard since it doesn't let you drop the difficulty. Turn me off, but it looks really good and smooth. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that game with Steel. Steel's been in the middle of his move, but he's gotten in where he's gotten some playing time in. Saw him rocking out on first Berserker, so I can't wait to get his thoughts on that. Because again, it's not gonna be a game I drop into, but it looks dope as hell. Love everything about that. But yeah, Dizzy, I wish in the demo they would have allowed you to drop the difficulty as well, so people could get an idea if they could play it on a lower level. Because I have heard that game can be a very challenging Souls experience. So, but yeah, glad you at least tried it. But it does suck the demo didn't have lower difficulty. I would like to see them do that too. Baba, what's going on, Polly Baba? Paul gonna make me reinstall Adamfall. Hey, Polly, if you dropped out too because it just wasn't hitting for you, man, don't do it just because of me. I just really, again, I'm a AA fan. And I know a lot of you are AA fans. It's still going to be subjective. It's just a lot of the little things in AA just don't bother me because I played so much of that stuff. And I'm not playing like Assassin's Creed Shadow like Mav is right now. If I was playing Assassin's Creed Shadow right now, I probably wouldn't give time to Adamfall. And like I said, now that I've put almost 8 hours in Adamfall, I'm gonna peel back my time playing Adamfall. I'm gonna go back to Death Stranding because I really want to keep playing Death Stranding. Death Stranding's got its hooks in me. So I'm going to get back to that and give that more love now. So Adamfall is one of those games you just kind of side dish, right? It's not a main course meal. It's just a nice little side dish for you. But yeah, if you do decide to jump back in, Polybob, I can't wait to see you pop up in some comments and see if you did wind up liking it a little bit more. Who else we got here? We got the Cyber Gunter. What's going on, Cyber Gunter? He said, I tried to like Adamfall. It doesn't click for me. Uninstall right away. Glad for those who like it. Exactly, Cyber Gunter. That's how you do it, man. No risk. Check it out. Don't like it, uninstall it, man. That's what we do. Love it, man. I'm glad you checked it out. Who else we got here? The Ghost Fiction. What's going on? Ghost Fiction says, I've been going between Adamfall, some Metaphor, and then maybe some Romancing Saga 2 remake on PS5 with Romancing Saga 3 as well. It is unbelievable how many. I've still got Metaphor. I mean, it's just dumb how many games are stacked right now, and I would love to jump into Romancing Saga now that they're bringing out those, but I am going to be jumping into old school JRPG this month. I was going to jump into Suikoden. But then we found out about Lunar coming out. Lunar is one of my all-time classic favorites, JRPG series. So is Suikoden. Don't get me wrong. Suikoden really is. Chris Jones isn't rocking here. C Unit. Sorry, man. I know it's kind of blasphemy. I just love Lunar. So I'm buying that day one. So Lunar is going to be on my list. I'm going to be playing some old school JRPG myself later this month. Brett, what's going on, Brett? Great to see you, brother. Thanks for being here. The one and only Web Dave is in the house. Web, always appreciate you dropping in here, sir. Keep up the good work. We got the Matt McDonald Media. What's going on, Matt McDonald Media? He says, can't wait for Switch 2. Not looking forward to the prices of games, but can't wait to play them all. Gonna be a lot of you. Gonna be a lot of you. And I'm not gonna judge you. Okay, I'm not gonna judge you. I will judge Nintendo. I will judge the Defense Force. But I'm not going to judge the people who decide to go play, because let me tell you, if they come out and announce that Elder Scrolls 6 is $90 on day one, you damn well know this dude right here is going to pay the fucking $90. Okay? I will bitch. I will say it's not right. But that's a game I will play. So I'm not going to judge anybody. It is what it is. We got to make our decisions as consumers. Again, we're never going to, we'll get into it. We got a lot to talk about. We got the Ninja Squirrel 30. What's going on, Ninja Squirrel 30? Great to see you dropping in here. He says, Lakers Warriors will be a fire game. Mavericks GM will forever go down in history as the worst trade in NBA history. Most likely, yes. Most likely that will happen, to Mavs' chagrin. BT Maverick 707 says, great to see you in here, brother. Appreciate you. We got J Mo Money. What's going on? J Mo Money says Nintendo can kick rocks. Grew up on them, but F them. Yeah, I've been saying F them for a couple decades now, and they almost had me back. They almost had me back. We're gonna get into it. Who else we got in here? Meek B2G. What's going on, Meek? Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Says you can also stream with GeForce Now. Yep. If you have the Ubisoft subscription, that is correct, sir. GeForce Now is a great deal for those that use it. Coach Hooded Canuck. Always a pleasure to have you joining the show. Says if you buy GTA 6 Gold Edition on Xbox Series X, you're looking at $179.99 for me and Canadian. Yeah, we're going to talk about the ripple effect here, or I don't even think it's going to be a ripple effect for GTA. I had already called that months ago what I thought Strauss was going to do. Now it's almost a lock. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe he'll surprise us.
Do it.
Huh?
Don't do it. Don't. Come on.
You could charge $80 digital for Mario Kart World. Strauss.
Well, that's what they're saying. I don't want anybody else to say that. That's what
for GTA 6.
That's easy. What Take-Two is saying right now. I don't want them to say it. I want them to be like, you know what, we can.
Yeah, we're gonna be
but
nice.
It's not right. You know,
we're totally not about business here at 2K. We're totally not about our shareholders at 2K. That's gonna happen. Anyways, we're gonna talk about it. E-Ranks, what's going on? E-Ranks, great to see you. Hey, can I copy your homework? Xbox One, okay, but don't make it obvious. Yeah, it's kind of funny. They've got Forza Horizon and Halo in their lineup, Mav, for their launch. Kind of weird, kind of strange.
Yeah,
if you think about it, it's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy. I saw Mario Kart World, and I was like, oh, there's your playground. It's nice. Forza Horizon, Mario Kart.
Yep.
Perfect. Saw Metroid, and I like Metroid's one of the games I do want to play. But the more I see of that, it's like, oh, you got Halo.
God, it looks like Halo. It looks so much like Halo 4, bro.
Bro, the visuals, I was like, what? Oh my God. Anyways, we'll get into it. Micah Ford, what's going on? Great to see you in here. He says, to me, the biggest slap in the face is the paid patches for the Switch 2. Oh boy, something else that we speculated was going to happen. Mav, how many remakes and remasters were they going to launch with?
Well,
how many special edition Switch 2s?
This is just the beginning.
It's just the beginning, bro. Oh, God. Mr. Waffles. What's going on, Mr. Waffles? He says, oh, my God, the Treehouse chat was spamming. Drop the price the entire 4-hour stream. Yeah, I saw a lot of that in there. Nate Dog. What's going on, Nate Dog? He says, Nintendo said it has DLS DLSS and ray tracing. Yeah, yep. That has been confirmed, although they have not confirmed what it is to be specific. So that is interesting. Some of the specs are still up to debate about what this thing is going to do because they haven't released all of it. But NVIDIA did confirm it does have DLSS, obviously, which we did know, and ray tracing. So we will see how it's used down the road for sure. Berg based Brizzle. What's going on, Berg? Great to see you in here as well. See how much further I can go here. God Emperor Soph King. What's going on, God Emperor? Thank you for being here. We got Alvin. What's going on, Alvin? Great to see you in here as always, brother. Appreciate you dropping on by. Lore Master Jasper. What's going on, Lore Master? Great to see you, brother, calling us in from space. Great to see you. Let's see who else. Miss you too, brother. We gotta get on the show again. I gotta hear your voice. Leaf is in here. It says morning from the UK early on. Morning to you, Leaf. Thanks for joining us all the way from the UK. Oh, the brother from another Steel Rain was in here really early saying, are we naked yet? Not yet, Steel. But soon, brother. You know that. Soon. Mitchie dies a lot. Thank you, my friend, for being here. Dapka, again, great to see you. And of course, can't miss out on the Masshold 1977, who's always usually the first three in the house. And he's got to always say, sup, nerds. Sup to you, nerd, Masshole. Love seeing you here, brother, as the usual. So thank you all for being here. I think that's everybody. Oh, Blue Moon FC, I see you jumping in here. What's going on, Blue Moon? We're not going to miss out on you, sir. Thank you for being in here. Tear Bear, great to see you as well. He says Adamfall gave me big Deathloop vibes. Yeah, there's a mix of games you could go with Adamfall. It's got a little bit of everything in there. Solar Flare, I see you jumping in here. He says cute thumbnail, go Nintendo. We just have a little fun around here, and we're gonna, it is what it is. Whip, what's going on, Weapon X? Great to see you. He says no one has mentioned that last Berserker Kazan is a stream your own game. Oh, it is. Oh,
I didn't even know that. Yeah, nice.
Oh, okay. And Steel, of course, says, where is it hard in the demo? Steel, people don't play these games the way you do, brother. Come on, man. Come on. It's just what's easy to you isn't easy to the rest of us, sir. I tell you.
Everything is easy to steal.
What's going on? Bro,
how was Armored Core to steal? The newest, was it easy? Did he say I'm wondering if it was easy.
Yes, and he was playing PvP too, and he was kicking the shit out of people. He's nuts.
Just
Just playing the game, man. Just playing the game. That's his famous line.
Just playing the game.
Just playing the game. Just playing the game. Don't know what you're talking about. I'm just playing the game. True Serum, I see you in here. What's going on, Truth? Thanks for dropping in here as well. I think it's everybody. Okay, I got everybody. Did I miss anybody? Oh, Jigga J! I thought I saw you pop on in here. Jigga J, great to see you. Thank you for grabbing, getting in line and being a part of the show. I think that's it. I think we got everybody. All right. Well, Mav. Should we just go right into Nintendo?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's dive in. It's what the people want.
Let's just dive into Nintendo Switch here.
Let's talk about some obscure RTS instead for about eight hours.
Well, we could. We do have new RTSs coming out too. We do have the Titanfall 3 rumor, which is interesting. That would be dope. So, we've got the StarCraft stuff as well, which is dope. But yeah, let's jump into Nintendo. Okay, if you were living underneath the rock past couple days, might not have heard, but we finally got the Nintendo Direct that officially announced the worst kept secret in the entire video game industry, and that is the Switch 2 officially got unveiled. And let's just start with what they announced, Mav. Let's just start there, and then we'll get into the BS as we go. So I'm just going to pull this from Game Radar here. Plenty of Nintendo Directs have come and gone, but none have had us on the edge of our seats quite like the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct from April 2025. After all, barring a very brief teaser, it wasn't until now that we'd seen the much of the long-awaited follow-up console at all. We laughed, we cried, we argued about Donkey Kong's popularity, all meanwhile collecting together everything announced at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct for you below. We've been hard at work salivating over the new details and the games that will dominate our lives across the next few months. That's basically just some self-promotion there, so we'll skip that. So here's what we know. Nintendo Switch 2 release date, and this is going to be the early stuff that was actually at the show. We'll get to the other stuff that came after the show was over and people started diving into Nintendo's blog and that kind of stuff. Nintendo Switch 2 release date confirmed. The Nintendo Switch 2 release date is set for June 5th, 2025. So if you do want to pre-order it, GameStop has some great trade-ins. Psychonauts can help you out there if you want to trade in your old Switch. They're doing bonuses as they always do. But it is set to release for June 5th, 2025. Nintendo confirmed the date along with a number of day-on games and accessories. Mario Kart World would be a primary launch title, along with two new Switch 2 camera, Switch 2 Pro controller, and plenty more. There will also be select Nintendo Switch 2 edition games available from day one, with more coming down the line. Super Mario Party Jamboree's Nintendo Switch 2 edition, for example, won't launch until July 24th. Of course, you've heard by now, the price is $450. And if you want to get the Mario Kart World bundle, it's an extra $50. So you will want to take advantage of that and try to get that bundle because they only want $500 for that. Whereas separately, it will cost you $530, which we'll be getting into, at least for the digital. We'll be getting into that shortly here. The new C button unlocks game chat, Mav. Mav, game chat.
Game chat with video too.
With video, so you can get the camera. So we can go back to the 360 Uno days. You remember the 360 Uno days, Mav?
Amazing. Yes. 360 Uno stuff that was implemented.
I'm sure there'll be nobody using the camera.
Ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody will be using the camera for some spicy stuff
no one
in the Switch 2 chats. I'm sure that won't happen. Just like Uno was completely innocent. If you were around for 360 Uno, I don't need to say anything else. If you ever I would not let my kiddo play Uno on the 360 with the camera. I had to unplug it for a reason. Actually, no, I wouldn't let him play it at all because everybody else's camera was still plugged in and you could still see. I would not let him play Uno at all because I was like, nope, you're not touching that thing.
I will say that they did say that there's a easy thing to where you could just deactivate it for family control for kids, but
sure.
But I think that
everybody's going to read up on that. All the bright parents out there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But hey, parent your own kids. You know what I mean?
Yep, parent your own kids. But oh my God, the stories, I can see them already. So the right Joy-Con features a new C button, which unlocks the new game chat functionality. This lets you communicate with friends using the microphone built into the Switch 2 in both handheld and docked configurations. Nintendo also demonstrated that you can also share your game screen, meaning you can screen watch and co-op. Oh, what? Is this like Discord, Mav?
It looks like Nintendo's like Discord Lite. You know, it's like we're basically making our own little light version of mini.
And I'm sure
Discord.
I'm sure it's gonna be flawless. I mean, they've been so great with all their online connectivity in the past.
You see, like you could even see like on the like the video quality seemed fine for like the individual person, but when the other people were sharing their screens, it was like 10 frames per second or something like that. Which is, I mean, it's a little gimmicky feature anyway. I mean, it's like,
of course it is. I know. I'm just saying, like, you know, like, oh no, it's Alex pointed out in his video. Why not just make a partnership with Discord?
100%. Yeah.
Why do we need to do that? But anyways, all this is accessed via the C button, which pulls up the chat menu, a feature that emphasizes connectivity more than ever on Nintendo Switch 2. There's a Nintendo Switch 2 camera, which we were just talking about. Nintendo announced a new Switch camera that will connect to the dock via USB. This official peripheral is designed to enhance the online functionality of the Switch 2, giving you more ways to connect with your friends. While Nintendo stopped short of putting an official price, I believe it came out at $50 or was it 70? I can't remember. It will be available from launch. Select Switch 2 exclusives and Switch enhanced games will make use of the camera, such as being able to incorporate your face or body into select titles. And it can also be used with game chat feature. Yes, that's right. You'll now be able to do face scan in NBA 2K because everybody likes that so much. It works great. All right, next up, Nintendo Switch 2 Game Share revealed. Switch 2 will allow you to play certain selected titles with up to 3 friends on their own console and has interconnected game chat features. This means there is no need to hand a Joy-Con to a friend when you're playing a multiplayer game with them. Thanks to Game Share, you'll be able to play locally on separate Switch 2 systems as long as just one of you owns a copy of the game. Right now, it seems this feature will be exclusive to Switch 2 and specific Switch 2 games, though the games in question have yet to be confirmed. Okay, that's cool. I mean, again, it's cool. I mean, if you got groups of friends who do get together, that's dope. That,
Or
get
multiple
one copy.
kids in a family.
Yes, or multiple kids in the family, correct. One copy,
Yeah.
everybody gets to play. That's good shit, right? So that's good. Nintendo Switch 2 handheld mode, detailed screen, audio, and the stand. It might have a bigger screen. Yes, that's right. 7.9 inches compared to 6.2 on the original. Size does matter, everybody. But the thickness on the console is the same. Ooh, no girth, though. The resolution, however, features double the pixels and supports up to 120 FPS on the 1080p display. You heard correctly, folks. 1080p display up to 120 frames per second. That is a good thing.
Yeah.
Even the LCD screen features HDR support as well. You heard right. LCD, not OLED. Guess what's coming down the road? An OLED version will be coming down the road. They should have just done it out the gate. Whatever, Nintendo. Okay, stick with your LCD. That's fine. The built-in speakers are now clear and has a built-in microphone with noise canceling for game chat as detailed above. 3D audio now also features with the need for surround sound system similar to the PlayStation, without the need for a surround sound system similar to the PlayStation 5. A new sturdy stand, sturdy in quotes, allows you to stand the undocked console in multiple angles. Additionally, 2 USB-C ports. It's good. Feature on the one on the top and one on the bottom. That's convenient, like that. Of the device, meaning you can charge while using the stand and plug in the Nintendo Switch 2 camera. The biggest news from someone with lots of games is the 256 gigabytes of internal storage. Okay, whatever. It's 2025, folks. 256 nowadays. Come on, man. A huge upgrade from the 32 gigs on the original Switch. Yeah, but it's not comparable to what we get elsewhere. Why 256? Why not 512? Why? I can't with these guys sometimes. Read-write speeds have been improved as well. When docked, you can enjoy the games in 4K. So that rumor about it not outputting 4K was shot down. Obviously, this is going to be, for the most part, helped through with DLSS. Of course, we know this. It's going to be up.
Big deal for me on FSP. I was like that. Once that rumor came out, I'm like, I just could not believe it. Like, I was like, really? And thankfully for everybody, that was false reporting.
Wrong. That was wrong. The one caveat is 4K output is fixed to 60 frames per second. So there will not be 4K 120, but that's
how many games are going to be able to play 4K 120 on a Switch too anyway?
A lot of games could, but that's always been my point. The indie games will be able to on the Switch, but again, whatever. It's 60 frames is fine. Fan ventilation has been improved as well. Great news for those tired of hearing the original Switch struggle with some later releases. They're going to need that for some of these big games like Cyberpunk. Ooh, boy. Man, oh man, it's going to get crazy to see how this thing performs. The Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Con 2 controllers detailed. Gone are the little slidey rails. The Joy-Con 2 controllers connect via strong magnets now, but have similar release button for detaching them. When used horizontally, the SL and SR buttons are now quite a bit chunkier. Likewise, the left and right sticks are big overall. Most controllers can be used as a mouse. Both controllers can be used as a mouse with compatible games. They've already showed that off with Metroid Prime. Okay. Okay. I mean, again, it's cool. It's a cool concept. It's cool. Put your games on PC. Nintendo, put your games on PC. But anyways, but yeah, it did look kind of dope with Metroid Prime with somebody controlling part of the game with the control, the movement with the control. Nintendo Switch 2 game carts and storage detail. Nintendo Switch 2 game cartridges will be the same size as the first generations, though original Switch carts will not be compatible with the new system. In terms of the storage options, the Switch 2 uses micro SD express cards with up to 256 gigabytes of memory instead of just the standard micro SD. If you're worried about moving all your games and settings across to your Switch 2, fear not. The system transfer feature will help you import everything directly to it. So yes, they are not using proprietary memory, which is good, but it only does accept the express cards, so you will have to buy those specifically, not your standard micro SD cards, just so you know that. But again, the fact they're not doing proprietary memory, shout out to Nintendo for not doing that, at least. Thank you. Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. Joy-Con 2 controllers will be joined by the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller, full size, all-in-one pad that looks a lot like last console's Pro controller, while still in the works. What we've seen is a solid black color instead of transparent with white highlights on top, featuring the C button directly in the center, followed by the trend of other premium controllers, though. This iteration also features back button on each grip, GR and GL, which can be assigned to other buttons. It also has an audio jack. This will be detailed further later. One feature missing, if you guys are controller heads and been listening to this, no announcement of Hall effect joysticks. Again, 2025, like this is becoming standard now. Why do you do this? Why? Technology that avoids stick drift. Why would you not use it? It's not that much more expensive at all at this point. Nintendo sometimes. GameCube games are finally coming to Nintendo Switch Online. I saw a lot of people celebrating this. This is big news for Nintendo, Nintendo drones for sure. The GameCube library has been highly requested to be added, and they are finally doing it. So that's dope. Again, that sounds cool as hell for the people that are looking to go back and play some of the GameCube games. They are doing that. There are 3 categories of games on Switch 2. That's right, everybody. You heard it correctly. 3 categories. Nintendo has announced 3 categories of games. The first are the proper Nintendo Switch 2 games, which leverage new features such as Mario Kart World. The second are compatible Nintendo Switch games, essentially backwards compatibility across digital and physical games. They do note that some games may not be supported. The third are somewhere in between the two. Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games, upgraded versions that offer improved visuals and new ways to play. Upgrade packs are available for some games that support this. We're going to get into that. Mario Kart World was announced as a new launch game. If you haven't seen it, it is now open world. It is Forza Horizon Mario Kart is what it is at this point. For the Mario Kart head, it looks dope as hell. Like there's tons of modes. You can even just travel around the world and find new paths and because you can go off the beaten path during a race.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they're going to have up to 24 players now. So definitely cool. Definitely a step up for Mario Kart. It looks almost exactly the same. I will say the skybox is improved. Shout out to 3-Bit for that one. But other than that, it looks like Mario Kart. What we've already had. Okay. Sounds great. Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. This was one of the first parts of the show where
this one was weird.
Their head. This is not. This isn't just weird. This is just greed. This is just straight up corporate bullshit. For anybody pretending that Nintendo's not your standard corporation, this is straight up CFO level bullshit right here. So the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Nintendo Switch revealed a brand new game called the Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Think Astrobot for PlayStation, right? Shows off the features, which is designed to be an introductory experience to help you understand all the new features and functionality. We only got a small look at this digital online release, though it looks like it'll comprise small mini games set inside the console architecture. It looks cute. But there's a word of caution here. Unlike Astro's Playroom, which was packaged in with the PS5 to showcase the DualSense controller, Welcome Tour will be sold separately for an unknown price.
Yeah.
They're going to sell you a demo for your new system.
Sounds like a great idea.
Yo.
Come on, man. It's like, hey, why not? People are going to buy it. They want to learn everything about the Switch too, so they're going to buy it.
Hey, we sold them cardboard at one time. Of course they will buy this.
Hey, you want to learn how to switch use your Switch 2 with some fun demos, you got to pay. Otherwise, figure it out for yourself.
Oh my God. Drag X Drive announced is coming this summer. The wheelchair basketball game is designed around all around using Joy-Con 2 motion and mouse controls. These 3v3 matches will have you using both mouse controls at once to intuitively maneuver your wheelchair with extreme sports edge, including popping tricks off half pipes. When you get the ball in your hands, you can then flick the controller and go for a shot. It's launching summer 2025.
Yeah. So the Switch launched with arms, and then the Switch 2 launches with no legs.
Yes. Yes.
Pretty
yes. Much. And that's another showcase game again for the Joy-Cons, right? So that's
so what was it called? What was it called?
It's called Drag X Drive.
Drag X Drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Donkey Kong Bonanza is launching this summer. The King of Swing returns, an open world Donkey Kong game that makes the most of the Simian star power and strength, where Link slowly clambers up cliff-sized Donkey Kong bounds, able to rip up chunks of the environment itself apart to use as a weapon or even to slide on. He is able to bend the world to his whim across a variety of colorful biomes featuring the redesign of Donkey Kong. He's extremely expressive as he cuts through the underground world, coming shortly after the Nintendo Switch 2 release. Donkey Kong Bonanza releases July 17th, 2025, and I believe they gave him pants in this one because Donkey Kong needs pants, Mav.
Yeah, I thought the Donkey Kong game looked pretty good.
It looks decent, yeah. It looked decent. Yep. You get another kart style game, Kirby Air Riders. Announced confirmed for 2025. I can't stand Kirby. Shout out to Steele. He's in the chat right now. He loves Kirby. I hate Kirby. I can't stand Kirby.
I'd rather them made a new Pilot Wings. That'd have been cool.
That would have been better. Star Fox. How about
Star Fox? Pilot Wings. Wave Race. Bring back Wave Race.
Yeah, Wave Race. Something?
Yeah, bro.
No, we get Kirby Air Riders.
F-Zero.
The pink blob is back. That's what he is. He's a blob riding a warp star that packs extra boost into his own racing game. The original released on the Nintendo GameCube over 20 years ago, and Smash Brothers creator and director Masahiro Sakurai is directing this one. The teaser trailer has Kirby blasting through a lush world with other colored Kirbys, but there's not a lot of additional information. It's coming this year. Then the surprise game, Mav. This is the one that caught people completely off guard. From Software shows up.
Yeah.
Miyazaki shows up. Basically, flips the finger to PlayStation and says, yeah, we know you want Bloodborne 2, but there's been some smoke about how Bloodborne was treated by PlayStation. And Miyazaki has only said that he'd love to do Bloodborne 2, but he just can't find the time. Well, folks, he found the time for Nintendo to come with an exclusive new From Software game called Duskbloods, launching in 2026. And yeah, I don't know how the article says, I don't know how to say this calmly, but From Software has a Switch 2 exclusive coming to the console in 2026 that essentially looks like Bloodborne 2. The Duskbloods riffs off of what Dark Souls publisher knows best, oozing the Victorian Gothic dark fantasy vibes in a way that absolutely screams Yarnum, albeit with a curious touch of London, and we are very much freaking out about it. The short trailer shown in Nintendo Switch 2 Direct introduces to Duskblood's Gridmark universe in all its blood-sucking glory, hinting at the grueling action we can expect next year. It has now also come out that this is a multiplayer game. It is PvPvE. So Miyazaki cozying on up to Nintendo, giving them an exclusive game.
Yeah. You can tell the third parties from the show are like, finally we can put our games on Nintendo. Yeah.
We said a long time ago this was going to happen, and yes, it's happening. It's happening big time. Plus, over 40 more Nintendo Switch games were announced. We'll get to some of those because I do have a list of some of the third party and stuff that was going on. All right, Matt, before we get into the rants, before we get into the talk about the other stuff that came out after the fact, right? You sat and watched this. I watched after because I couldn't, and I still haven't watched the whole damn thing. It was just a little over an hour. I think it was like an hour and 10 minutes, something like that. I can't remember. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've watched a majority of it and seen, the highlights. I've seen a lot of the games. going back and rewatching those. But Mav, just while you saw this, right, and you at this moment when you first were
Mhm.
watching this, you were in the mode of I'm really kind of excited for Switch 2. Like this is gonna be it. Now you had your caveats, obviously the
Yeah,
4K
like the
thing
4K thing
is
on
something
Monday, I was because I've
yeah,
been talking about this. Like, hey, like
yeah,
I want to be a Nintendo fan again. I want to be excited. So the 4K thing when that had come out, I'm like, if that happens, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. Like at
right.
this
You're gonna be pissed.
point, like in 2025, to not even be capable of outputting a 4K image is just ridiculous. So like that news, which I think people mistook it as far as like yeah, like I understand certain systems don't necessarily all have a lot of 4K games, right?
Sure,
But just
sure.
the technical ability for something to put out a
Yeah,
4K image matters for your televisions and how the images will look, right? Even if it's like upscale, all these other kind of things, right? So, um, that's where I was coming from. I like my biggest thing was like I sick of having blurry looking shit on a big screen TV, and
talked about that for
I
years.
didn't want to have that again. So,
Oh,
I
so
was looking forward. Like that was one of my main things. I watched this Switch
yep.
2 Direct, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like the game chat stuff, all that stuff is like okay, whatever.
So how did you so when you just heard
Like
this before we got to the BS, did it sell you on it? Did it feel good? I'll be right back.
I yeah, it felt very good. It checked all my boxes. Like checked all my boxes. Yeah, like yes. Screen. I talked about this like on numerous shows. Hey, I want the screen to be a good size, right? Screen was a good size. I wanted it to have good features for image quality and stuff. For like it supports 1080 on the actual display, up to 120 frames per second, output capable of outputting up to 4K 60 on a TV or lower resolution at higher frames. Like yes, gonna have different performance modes, optional modes like quality and performance for different games. I'm like yes, like all these things. Check out the boxes. Third party support showing up. Games that I if you have a system that is a portable system that's your go-to for kind of wherever how you like to use it. If you're chilling in bed or if you're traveling or whatever, you want to be able to have the library of kind of all of the kinds of games you like to play, not just specifically only the exclusive Nintendo games. And I'm like, yes, that's great. So that you wouldn't have to have necessarily two different devices. You could just have the Switch and you could have all your third parties there too and whatever. So like it's checking all the boxes, image quality, size of the screen, the dock is improved. Like the size of the Joy Cons is better and bigger. Everything from that, I was like 100% like, yeah, this is what I was hoping for. The evolution of the Switch would be as far as the hardware goes, right? Because I wasn't expecting it to be like a Series X or a PS5. I was expecting some kind of upgrade in quality of the hardware that's gonna play these kind of Nintendo games, but just put them on a better image quality on my screen, and then have a better experience if I do play it in handheld, right? And so I was super super happy. I was ready, Pong. I was ready to like say, Nintendo, you got me.
Yeah.
You got me, bro. You got me. I'm ready to get back in there. I will say, as far as the first party stuff, I was hoping for better announcements from Nintendo.
Correct. Yeah, I wanna
Like,
talk about
but
that.
I have faith in them in the long run that those are gonna come. I think that there's a lot there. I didn't. There's certain aspects of it that did turn me off of the actual show. Talking about they talk about the upgrade
Mhm,
games and like
mhm.
like you'll be able to optionally upgrade your games for a fee, and I'm like, oh fuck off with that. There's certain aspects that I was kind of like, wait, but I also anticipated it.
Yeah.
So there was that. But at this point, still, I was like, all right, you know,
Yeah.
announce more games. I'm looking forward to it down the line. Other things, and I'm all in on this. Be excited to play that Mario Kart in the meantime, and then move my library over to it, and be able to kind of have a better experience. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was feeling
Yeah.
good,
So,
man.
so it did its job. So
I
you're
was
feeling
feeling
good.
good. Yeah, I was feeling like,
Yeah.
hey, this is what I wanted.
Yeah. I obviously didn't watch it. I didn't have a virgin watch through, right? So because I was at work, so I got all the BS, right? So I got all the BS. But just taking myself away from the BS afterwards that we found out, as somebody who was for the first time in decades actually interested and talking about purchasing a Nintendo product, Nintendo console next year. I wasn't going to do it this year, but next year when I get settled in and stuff, I kind of took myself out of it and said, would this have done it for me? And I think it would have. I don't think it would have. It gave me all the stuff that I wanted to hear. Now, like you, Mav, the first party lineup, but this is a me thing, number one. Everybody knows this. You saying it as well. I don't get excited for the normal Nintendo stuff, right? So
Mhm.
I know that going up front. Like Metroid Prime 4 is one of the major IPs, excuse me, first party IPs that I actually am excited for. Again, when I talked about getting the Switch 2, it was to go back and be able to play Fire Emblems, Xenogears, etc. That's the stuff that I missed out on that I
Mhm.
want to go back and play. And then I hope that I get some new stuff thrown in that I want to play and Metroid Prime 4. So when I stepped back, I was like, "Oh, that first party lineup is not the usual Nintendo first party lineup that we see with new consoles because I'm not going to include Switch 2 editions. It's the new thing. We've seen this, right? PlayStation did this throughout this entire generation so far, remastering games that don't need to be remastered, charging for upgrades, all that kind of stuff. So when you say, and again, I'm not even talking about the pricing. I'm just saying that in general, when you tell me, oh, we're gonna do Switch 2 upgraded games, okay, well, I don't count those. Yes, they're a part of the
Mhm.
lineup, and yes, there are gonna be people that are excited for it. But for me personally, I was like, oh, I can't even count those. Like I was hoping to see some new stuff here. Like again, I was hoping a Star Fox would be announced, right? I was like,
Yeah, I was hoping there'd be some
that'd be
more
dope.
cool like surprises,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, something from the past, some old IP that they brought back, especially for the Switch 2, like anything, like because they've got a great library as well. People don't
Mhm.
understand, like Nintendo has a lot of games in their back catalog that they don't pull out either, which they certainly could. So yeah, I was just overall, but as far as the system goes, man, like you, the 4K thing was a deal because again, if I was to get a Switch 2, it would be in dock mode most of the time. I would not be
Right.
playing it in handheld mode. So I was like, I needed that. They gave me that. Again, locked in 60 frames. Okay, locked in 60 frames, fine. I was satisfied. I was satisfied with this. I thought this was the show itself was a little less Nintendo than normal. And I think some people that are Nintendo fans pointed it out that there wasn't the big kind of Nintendo moment because this system is just an iteration off the Switch. They're not reinventing anything, right? Again, that people are used to some crazy new idea from Nintendo or something, that and there's nothing really that big different about the Switch 2 other than what's on the inside, right? The mouse control Joy-Con. Okay, well, again, that's not going to be for everybody, but they didn't really have that big innovative moment that they have in a lot of their shows. So this felt a little bit more, I don't want to say stale because it still had pop and it was still Nintendo, so it was kind of fun if you like Nintendo. But it just didn't have that big moment. But overall, the show, if I take myself out not knowing the BS, I would have just watched the show and go, okay, there's some head scratchers here, but I'm still in. Like the Switch 2 is
Yeah.
giving me what I want. It's got the backwards compatibility, got all that stuff. So I was still in, like you, Matt. I would have said that I was still in here. Um, I, I mean, where do you want to go here, Matt? Because
Well,
then
I
it
will
was,
say also I really like
yeah, go ahead.
I really like the magnet for the Joy Cons too because
Yeah, that's
the
cool.
old slide ones like I hate like it if you accidentally ever put one of those on wrong
Yeah,
or like somebody else did, like a kid or something, they were a bitch to get off, man. Like so, just having that is a much better thing. It looks like it's a better quality built item than the previous Switch. So
yeah.
just overall hardware wise, again,
But
I was
but no
super
HAL
positive.
joysticks. I was like,
Yeah,
"Jesus,
yeah, yeah.
no HAL joysticks." I'm like, "Oh, come on, guys." So there was little things, a head scratcher,
Mhm.
but you're right. That's again, that's a feature that I didn't even think about because I've never used a Switch in my life, so I didn't know that they were slide on like that. I guess I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
they're like
The
little,
magnets
and
make
they
no
just
sense.
slide into the side. There's like nooks,
Right,
you slide them in, and then you hit a button and pull them out. And sometimes they can just be a little annoying. But
right. All right. Shortly thereafter, Mav, didn't take long.
yeah.
Word started to like wildfire, as it now does on the socials, on the internets. It spreads. And while Nintendo certainly has a giant defense force out there, right? And there are certainly people, Shane, I see you in the chat, obviously coming with the take that, hey, this is business. You've heard me say it here. They don't, they don't give a fuck about you. They don't care
Of
about you.
course
No,
not. Yeah. Hey,
Nintendo
it's
doesn't care
any
about you.
business. Yeah, do whatever they want. It's fine.
Nintendo doesn't care about you
Of
either.
course.
You guys can trick yourselves into believing Nintendo's different, but I've been saying this on my rants for a long ass time. Nintendo ain't no different. All their smiles are behind dollar bills, y'all. That's all it's ever been. So, absolutely correct, Shane. Business gonna business, whatever. But people don't have to just sit back and say that either. People can stand up and say this is bullshit, this is wrong, right? Don't care. I'm not down for the pseudo intellectuals out here trying to tell me that this is just the cost of a pricey hobby. I don't care. Go ahead. Go ahead. Use your big words, use your thesaurus, have your audience believe that you're smarter than everybody else, right? That's why you're here talking video games every single day. And you got your little group of people because you pseudo intellectuals believe that you're smarter than everybody else. You can gatekeep the conversations. As much as you guys don't care about anybody else's opinion other than your own and those that are like you, I don't give two shits about you guys licking boots. I don't care if you think the corporate world is great and all that. That's cool. Again, I'm all about big business. I like it. I was all about Xbox buying up things. I'm cool with it. There's no rules against it. There's no rules against what Nintendo did here at all. Go for it. Go for it. But I also don't have to sit back and just go, well, that's just the cost. That's just the price. Whatever. Nah, I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I'm going to talk about it. What's going on here is, again, the price of the console, man. First of all, the price of the console.
I'm
I didn't have a
fine.
problem with it.
I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
no problem with it at all. I get
I
it.
thought what after what I saw, what it was, the bigger screen,
Yep,
it's a better
yes,
quality. Even though it was an LCD screen, it's a better quality screen as HDRs finally and all that shit, right?
yeah,
Obviously, and it 4K output, 1080p, on the device itself, like all these things, like as seeing the, how it was, I'm like, especially in the market comparatively to other handhelds that are out there and everything, with a brand
yep,
new device today coming out. I was completely fine with the price of the hardware.
yeah,
449 I thought was a fair, decent, like it would be great if it was 399 for sure, right?
right,
But I thought it was
right,
like it's just what I was like, whatever. Yeah, that's fine.
yep. No, I was fine with that completely. So I was like, whatever. Um, the big one that hit Mav right away was, of course, the games. So this is very confusing, folks, because we don't have full clarity on this, and
Yes.
I don't think anybody knows for sure what this is going to look like down the future, right? And how this is all going to break out.
I've seen mixed things on this, but
Mixed
there's
things,
one
right?
thing that is clear.
There's one thing that is clear
Right.
is that a lot of the first party games are going to be $80 for the digital version.
Yeah. And for the upgraded versions.
And for the upgraded versions of the games, if you don't own them,
Right.
and they're going to charge you an upgrade fee. Has the upgrade fee been confirmed, Mav? I did not see that
People
today.
are
Is it
speculating $10, but I think it could be 20 because some of the
20?
games were 59.99 that are getting those upgrade fees. So it just depends. I don't know.
Okay.
10 to
So let's
20
just stick with
10 to $20, somewhere between there.
10 to $20. Okay. And there's going to be some games that aren't. I believe Donkey Kong Bonanza is $70. But Mario Kart World is $80, right? So again, there's going to be
And
this
if you go to Nintendo's website
waiting.
right now, there's
Yeah.
no prices officially there for any of these games,
Okay. Perfect.
right? But as far as I
Yeah.
know, I've seen screenshots floating around where people have shown a Nintendo storefront with
Yes.
pricing, I've
Pricing,
seen
correct.
shots from in websites regard from the other
Yeah,
places and talking about announcements and stuff like that of the pricing. But if I go to Nintendo.com myself and I look there, I can't find a price for a next gen game, Switch 2 game.
yeah, absolutely.
But I'm
For you,
the 80
yeah,
thing has been like confirmed.
yeah, yeah, exactly. The 80 thing has been confirmed. Fahim, two different topics, right? Big business is big business. Yeah, I mean, there's two different topics to be had if you're against, again, consolidation. You're against acquisition season, then you're against acquisition season. Pricing, again, we've talked about pricing. Anytime that anybody has upped their prices here, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, or now Nintendo, we have been very consistent and our criticisms of I won't protect big
It's like
businesses. Again,
it's just that's
again,
such
they
a I'm
yeah,
sorry. Like Fahim, bro. Okay,
behemoths.
okay, like it's a so he says so it's okay for Xbox to buy up everything, but Nintendo
Yeah,
charging
right.
for their own product, that's a problem. Wait, what? We're talking
Which
about the charge to customers, not what the companies are
right,
buying.
right.
Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like,
Like
say
because
that.
I brought it up as a big business that I was cool with Xbox doing big business, right? That's part of big
Right.
business, right?
And
But
what's
but
the
yeah,
end result to the customer?
right.
What's the end result for you? Like, think about that. That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking
Yep,
about, hey, what's better for Nintendo or what's better for
correct.
Microsoft or what's better for PlayStation or whoever. We're talking about what's better for you as the customer.
As a
That,
customer,
like,
correct.
just think about that for a second and get y'all's heads out of these corporations' asses for a second. Like, seriously, like, I don't understand. I don't understand that way of thinking. I have never understood that way of thinking. You are a customer buying products from these companies. You are not somebody that is like necessarily going to have a better anything because they make more money from you. Think about what they are getting and what you are paying for this and what your end result of your experience is. How does that affect you? How is it going to affect you? What is the price you are paying? What is the value you are getting? Like, that's what we should all care about. If you care about Nintendo getting more profit or Xbox buying more studios, and none of that at the end of the day ends up mattering. It matters what they deliver to us for the price that they're charging. The same with
Right.
any of the companies.
Yep.
That's the whole part of the console war, all that shit that never made any damn sense to me. Uh,
Fahim gets it now too. He hears you, so he does
Like
understand
I'm
now.
just
Yeah,
I'm just
okay.
saying
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
you're right.
like
There
we,
is two
we
separate
it's
issues.
two separate things, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It really is. But again, I just I won't I don't feel the need to defend the corporations when they do something like this. They're big boys and girls. They're billion-trillion-dollar companies. They don't need a defense force in any way, shape, or form. Like that part is weird to me. Like, yeah, we all have our favorite. Sure, a lot of people have favorite companies. We all have our favorite companies out there. Like again, I was a Sega fanboy, right? Back in the day. But at the same time, they don't need defense forces. Like the corporations don't need defense forces. This industry in particular does not need defense forces. This is a big boy and girl industry now. This is the number one entertainment industry in the world. These aren't the little engines that could
Yeah.
anymore.
Nintendo is
They're
so profitable, bro.
yeah,
Like
it's
extremely.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous how upset people get when people come down on corporations for upping prices on their consumers when it's unnecessary. Again, you could say it all day, and I agree with you. They don't care and they can do what they want. You're absolutely correct. And we get to talk about it if we want to.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why we're here tonight is to talk a lot about this stuff because again, I saw these $80 price points, man. The minute this came out, set aside the rumor that the physical copies could be $90, which again, I don't know if we have 100% confirmation that that is absolutely not true. There's been some people that I do know that I kind of trust that are saying that they are going to be $80 physical as well. That's even fucking worse in a way because digital should always be cheaper. That's another thing that console people should be considering here is that digital should be cheaper. It should be, and it's not. And we're gonna get to the point that that even Nintendo now has cartridges that don't have the games on it. And I know that's been a thing for them, but it's getting even more so. So you don't own your physical Nintendo games, which is something that people are very prideful on the Nintendo side. Oh, I'm gonna buy my physical Nintendo games because they go up in value and because they got the games on them. Well, that's becoming less and less of a thing now, too, with what we found out here. But let's just stick to the price point, the $80 price point. Listen, there's a lot of reasons and stories people have going on about why Nintendo should do this, why this is great, why this is normal. Like the Defense Force has been out here. They've pulled out all the stops. Now, there obviously has been a much greater outcry this time around. Like I said, I even saw a lot of Nintendo fans go, whoa, 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 what? 80? What? What are we doing? So I did see some of that going on as well, where even some of their big fans were like, okay, this is a little too far here. I saw these $80 price points, man. And I went, you got it. Well, I mean, I was in the DMs right away. I was like, this is rich. This is
Yeah.
absolutely rich.
And they had just went from 60 to 70. There's only had like one or two games or a couple games that hit the $70 mark.
Yes. And yeah, that's correct, man. There was only a couple games, like Tears of Kingdom, I think was one of them or whatever.
Yeah.
But I saw this and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I can't. I mean, of all the companies that we've talked about, right, that Nintendo would be the first one to push the barrier a little bit further, push the bar a little bit further. Because we had this conversation when this generation started.
Their games cost less to make than other companies. All these.
Their companies, but we talked about this, Mav, as overall. We had this conversation because I asked the question. I said Nintendo is raising their tech this time around. That means their games are going to go up in cost to produce if they're going to use the tech. That means their production lines that they've basically had the same for a very long time now, all of a sudden are going to start to creep up like PlayStation and Xbox did during last generation for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And then we've seen them explode for the Series X and PlayStation 5 when it comes to budgets, when it comes to time frames, when it comes just to overall cost to the company. That's what the big topic of conversation is. Well, Nintendo's been immune to that because they've been on 8-decade-old software and hardware, and that keeps your cost of games down to minimal levels compared to your two competitors. But I asked the question, how is Nintendo going to respond as their costs now start creeping up because they're coming closer? They're not even at current gen levels, right? They're at PS4 and Xbox One levels, right? We've heard potentially Pro level, PS4 Pro level if it's docked, but we still don't have confirmation on that. But that they're a generation behind still. But how was Nintendo going to respond to that? Well, we got our answer, man. Now people can blame tariffs all they want. That's been a big thing now. Oh God, from Grub on down, everybody throwing out tariffs. Well, my point to the tariffs is, if you're going to blame the tariffs, then you're telling me that this is temporary because the tariffs aren't going to be around forever. So you're telling me that Nintendo's going to reduce their price when the tariffs go away?
It also doesn't affect digital game
It doesn't
sales.
affect the digital world. It shouldn't affect the digital game world. So no, I'm not going to accept that. Oh, it's inflation. Come on, man.
They just went up to 70.
Right.
Like one thing.
Right. And then, like you said, man, for Nintendo was barely there. $80, man. And I've got to point this out. This is all subjective because the Nintendo fans are going to say Nintendo has the best games in the world. That's why they play on Nintendo. I am not going to tell somebody that they are lying or that they don't believe that. Absolutely. Of course they do. It's all subjective. It's all taste, right? I'm not going to even go there. But there is a fact here, Mav, that they are behind a generation. That these games that they're showing here, Mav, today for launch, yesterday for launch of the Switch 2, tell me from a technological standpoint why they needed to increase their prices again. Because they aren't pushing boundaries, Mav. Now, we can have the separate conversation about whether or not that's a good thing. We can have the conversation about UE5, whether that's been great for the gaming industry or a hindrance to the gaming industry. We can talk about whether or not graphics is everything. Obviously, I don't believe that. But we can have those conversations, but they're barely pushing into last generation right now. Metroid Prime 4, even with the Switch 2 upgrades, doesn't come close to anything we've seen even last generation from PlayStation or Xbox when you're going to compare it to something similar. And again, different art styles. I get all that. But I'm just saying, from a technological level, it's a fact that they're still playing behind the 8 ball. So what does it say? Why are their games worth $80? Well, my only answer is, Mav, and I'm going to let you speak on this price point here, is that it's because they know their fans will pay it. And Shane and others that talk about this are absolutely correct. Their fans will pay this $80. More of them might cry and scream a little bit as they hand over their credit card, but they're going to do it. Because if you want to, and this is the power that exclusivity does give you, and this is the argument that I have given in favor of exclusivity still to this day, if I was going to be a player in this space. When you do create a fan base, when you have a brand, and you create that brand around a set of IP, like your Zeldas, like your Marios, etc., Donkey Kong even, you can get away with this stuff if you have a loyal fan base. And they have one huge loyal fan base behind them. They are one of the popular kids on the block. That and PlayStation are the two popular kids. And their fans are going to go and do what's necessary to pay the amount that Nintendo asks them to play their favorite IPs. And they will do it in droves. And Nintendo knows this. Mario Kart 8 sold what, Mav? Like it's like 60 million copies,
crazy
70
amount.
million
Yeah.
copies. When they dropped Super Mario Kart World, they obviously know they can charge $80 and everybody's going to come run it.
And the biggest problem I have too with the Pong is
Sure.
that game will never, hardly ever go on sale.
Correct. Because Nintendo doesn't put their games on sale because they know they don't have to either.
Right. So if it's $80 at launch,
yes,
2 years later, guess how much you're paying for it?
Right.
$80. 4 years later, guess how much you're paying for it?
Right.
Like, once in the blue moon, finally there's a sale. There's no like, well, I could be patient, or it's
Mhm.
$80 $80 for the big Nintendo exclusive games. That's what you're going to be having to pay.
And are you going to get more quality? Are you going to get a better experience? This is the argument that's been made, man.
Not than what Series X or PS5's given for their exclusives that are much better value right now.
This is the argument, though, Matt, that if you pay more, that you'll get a better experience. That will allow the company to give you a better experience. Do I honestly believe that that's the case with any of these companies, Nintendo, Xbox, or PlayStation? No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that if PlayStation and Xbox started charging $100 per game tomorrow, Mav, that they would come out less buggy than they do now. But that is the argument that people honestly want to make, and they're still making to this day. That this, along with exclusivity, gives you better experiences on the hardware that you play on.
What is the best football game of all time?
How far back do you want to go? But it's NFL 2K, obviously.
ESPN NFL 2K5. You know what they did with that game?
Yep.
They charged $20 to be ultra competitive. That game was $20 in a world where everything was, I think, 50 at that time, maybe 60. Greatest game. It still has not been. Nothing has surpassed it since. My point in this is the companies can charge what they want based on what they're trying to achieve.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
The
profits.
Companies now will look at it, okay, see what can I get away with charging? What's my return? How many customers am I going to lose by upping the price?
Mhm.
how many customers, and it's a gamble. Anytime you up the price, it's like, okay, maybe you lose like a percentage customers, but your return on those customers you do have is going to be better, or maybe you don't end up losing any, right? So it's hey, let's just charge what we can. Let's just charge what we can. Let's just charge what we can. But for the customers themselves to be like, yeah, charge me. It's okay. I'm willing to pay. That's why they're doing it, because you're not fucking saying anything. You have people out there just constantly being like, I guess Nintendo. Look what everything that they're so good, everything they've always done for us, and they just treat us like so special and make the best games that anybody could ever ask for. I love them so much. It's just I understand. I understand. It's just you're great. You're special. Charge me. It's okay. I don't mind. And that's the attitude that nobody buying any consumer product should ever fucking have. To successful companies that are killing it, making amazing money and profit off of their consumers. Like, hey, yeah, I get it. You're so great. Just keep up the price, man. It's just it's amazing.
Mhm.
Like why have that attitude? And
Yep.
that attitude is why they feel like they can get away with it. They are doing it because they know that they can.
Correct.
If there was a massive backlash on this and everybody like boycotted, like everybody's like, oh, we're not buying Nintendos now, and their
Oh,
pre-order numbers just crashed. Nobody was signing up for it. It was
yeah.
all negative online, and they were like, oh fuck, yeah, there would be a complete reversal on this, and
Well,
they
look what
would
happened
guess
with the Wii
what?
U. They've had their failure before. The
Yeah,
Wii U as well.
100%. And guess
Yeah.
what? They would be
Huge difference.
completely fine selling their games at $70 or even 60,
Correct. Correct.
because they're gonna sell a shit ton of them.
Correct.
They're going to sell a shit ton of them. They will be completely fine making the money that they're going to make off of those games. There's
Right.
some games that launch from companies that have way more production costs than anything that Nintendo is going to make.
Yep.
That is double A, even some of them, and especially triple A, that they sell for $50. And guess what? They don't sell anywhere near as many copies as Nintendo makes on those. So it's just because they can, and that's
Mhm.
not something that we should say cool. Like, cool, you can, so just do it. Like, it's that mentality
Right.
bugs me, man. It bugged me when the games went up to 70 in the first place, when Games Media
Correct.
was all out there and doing their podcast for the big Games Media podcast at the time, and the news articles like saying the inflation, all this stuff. Games should have been getting fucking cheaper. The bigger the audiences there are, the more people they were selling to. The game should have been
Right.
getting cheaper. They
So
should
everybody
have,
forgets
when
too.
things went to digital, they should have gone down. As physical has transitioned into a
Correct.
digital world,
Like the PC market did.
things should have at least stayed the same or gotten cheaper. But no, because they don't have to.
Right.
Their profits, some companies have ran through the shitter. That's their own fault. But most of them, their revenues, profits have been just going up
Yeah,
and
the big
up and
boys.
up and up and up. And it's like they don't have. It's so hard to for
It
people to like just. I don't understand why. It's not like there's a specific cost to make that individual game, right? Like, okay, so let's say this controller, right? This controller, okay? Yes, there's an individual cost to produce this controller, right? It
yeah.
has actual cost of material, right? Cost of
Mhm.
material, cost of production, cost of shipping, all of that kind of stuff. So there is a price that they have to sell this controller at to be profitable, okay? As a company, and then they sell it to the retailers, and the retailers have their pricing too, right? So that's why there's a manufacturer suggested retail price. It's meant to be so where there's a markup to where they can make a certain amount of money. And it's where the company that's producing makes money on it and the retailers make money on it, right? Okay, but a video game, a movie, a music, right? Something that's created that exists in the ether, that is transferred via digital files. You can produce as many of those motherfuckers as you want to, and it's not having your costs go up maybe slightly with some kind of like small things or whatever, but it's not having your, if you sell 100 million copies versus 20 million copies, your production cost was the same. It matters how much money you make off of it. Okay. So are they going to sell 10 million? Are they going to sell 20 million? Are they going to sell 100 million? Right. They want to sell 100 million because that's all extra money. Right. Like, yeah, the retailers make their cut and then they make their cut too. But the individual cost of production was already set for the item. That doesn't necessarily matter how many you sell or don't. It's very different. So the whole inflation shit, all of the other things, that doesn't matter. It matters is return on investment. Return on investment. How much did it cost you to make it, and how much money did you make off of it, and how what you set your price at can be higher or lower depending on what you're trying to achieve, as many customers you're trying to get. Lower the price, you have a better chance to get more customers. The higher price, the less chance. Right? So that's a numbers game. Nintendo is so strong with their brand that they feel like they can just charge more. And that's what it's about.
Right. And like, listen, for those of you that want this again to turn into a rich versus poor thing, and that kind of stuff, and talk about how expensive this hobby is, everybody knows that this is an expensive hobby, and a lot of it is how much you actually want to put into it. But the question is, how expensive does it have to get? Is it necessary? Do we want to get to the point where it does go back to the old days and we do cut down? Again, I've talked about that. Like, yeah, sure, you want to have a collapse and have us contract. Maybe that's what's necessary. Maybe that will push it, is getting overpriced to the point where, again, we're talking about, does that experience actually give value? Like, are you actually getting your money's worth? At some point, we're going to cross that barrier. And I'm just going to talk about it all the way up, because I don't think that when you look at these companies, and yes, it's all about the shareholders. We all know this. They don't care, and they don't care about your fucking feelings, right? They don't. But the point of fact is, these companies, like Mav said, it's not like they're struggling. Okay. They're not struggling. They have a problem that they created themselves in their pipelines. They have a problem that they created themselves with these budgets, right? We didn't authorize these budgets. We didn't say start making $300 million games. They did internally. That was their green lights. They're the ones who said, yeah, go hire 1,500 devs to work on this game.
And
right?
then
They're the ones.
cancel 5 of them before
Right.
they eventually launch one. Yeah.
Right. They're the ones making these decisions. Just like I always say when people talk about Game Pass, like, I didn't make Xbox come out with Game Pass. They chose to offer it, right? I'm going to take advantage of an offering. So when I look at the numbers, this extra $20 now overall with $80 games that we've gone up with over the past generation, right? In one generation now, we're going to see $80 games become the norm, or at least a good number of $80 games now that Nintendo has broken that mark, right? This generation is going to see that, because PlayStation 5 games, I can guarantee you they're going to find some way to get them to 80 now that Nintendo's broken this. Okay. We're going to see GTA 6 break the bank. I think we're seeing a $20 price increase. There is nothing in our games outside of the budgets that they've greenlit, but there is nothing in these games that says that these games are $20 more of value. Again, it's going to be in the eye of the beholder. I'm just saying, from a technological standpoint, there's nothing saying that other than the budgets that they created for themselves. And yet, when we're talking about the Nintendos, when we're talking about the PlayStation, we're talking about the Xboxes, they are still showing record profits at almost every quarter. Do they need that extra money from us out of the games? I say no. Mav says no. This comes down to 100% corporal greed. Are they allowed to do it? Of course they are. This is the free market. This is capitalism. Every company is allowed to do this, right? Do I think that BMWs are worth $30,000 more than a Honda? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Do people buy them? Yes, they do. Shoes, same thing. We've gone down the list. They're allowed to do this. But being in this hobby for as long as I have, sitting here and watch it grow to the extent that it has, they do not need to charge $80 per game. This is not something everybody just has to go, oh, fuck yes, this is great. Been waiting to pay this money. No. And honestly, for Nintendo, this is where I have my questions. Are Nintendo first party devs going to change the style of games they make that are so popular with the Nintendo fans? Are they going to suddenly go for a more realistic look like we've seen over on Xbox and PlayStation 5 games? I don't see that. I don't see them turning Zelda into Elder Scrolls. Do you, Mav?
No, nor should they.
Right. Nor should they. But the point being is that means on a technological level, they're not going to have the same costs as PlayStation, Xbox. Them increasing the tech and their hardware does less for Nintendo first party and does more for the third party aspect. Nintendo, even coming close to this current gen, would do nothing for most of their first party output when it comes to the style of games and whatever. So now we're talking about when that next 2D Mario Wonderland, when Wonderland 2 comes out, Mav, and it looks exactly the same as it did on the Switch, except now it's 4K and runs 120. You telling me that people are going to say that that's worth an extra $20? Well, of course they are, because they're Nintendo fans and they're going to want to play that game. But overall, is that game actually worth $20 more of value? Only to the consumers who are big fans, right? But from an aspect of what it costs Nintendo to make that game, of course it's not. Of course it's not. I don't have to be inside to know that. It's not going to cost them that much. This is unnecessary charges because they can get away with it. Again, that's fair game. They're allowed to do that shit. I ain't going to sit here and say, oh, we need to, this ain't going to happen. I'm also the guy who freely admits when other things have come about, there's never going to be enough gamers who stand up at one time to correct any of this. Because again, most of the fans are going to turn over. Most of the fans aren't going to leave it behind. As Fahim's been pointing out, now everybody's been pointing out that Nintendo, they're not going to leave Nintendo. They're not going to stop buying Nintendo. No, the only time Nintendo's had that scare was with the Wii U because they positioned a product that nobody really knew what it was. And they confused the shit out of their fan base coming off the Wii. And everybody was like, what the hell is this? Why do I want a screen on my controller? What are you trying to do here? Because people weren't into handhelds yet. But then they come back and they blow up the whole entire market with the Switch and they're back to normal again. So chances of the Switch 2 doing anything but astronomical numbers is slim to none. They're going to do it. They're going to sell this. But the ripple effect to the rest of the industry as well is a problem to the rest of us consumers. And yes, I am now on the fence, or I'm off the fence, and I will not be buying a Switch 2. Just like Matt said. I am no longer interested in buying a Switch 2 next year. Nintendo don't care. That's fine. I haven't been a customer of theirs for 2 decades plus. They don't give two shits. But I will speak with my wallet here. Yeah. This has turned me completely off. As much as I want to play some of their games, I'm not doing it. This is not value for me. I look at their games, Mav, and from just a gamer standpoint, because I don't invest myself into Zelda and Mario and their big first-party IP, I look at Metroid Prime 4 and go, that's a last generation at best game when I just look at it. The gameplay might be excellent, and I don't have a problem with that. I want to play it. But I'm going to spend $80, like you said, on a game that doesn't go on sale. So even if I get over my FOMO, Mav, which I could easily, and wait for a sale, I just know that sale's probably not going to happen. Is that worth it for me to go buy a Switch 2 and then wait on games and cross my fingers and spin around 3 times and hope that they go on sale at some point? No, it's not. I will not enjoy Nintendo games then. That's okay. I haven't been doing it for decades. I guess that's okay. It is what it is. So, yeah, that was a big one, Mav. That was a big one to come out of this. And again, they are hearing the backlash. For the people who say that Nintendo isn't here, they are actually hearing the backlash. There is enough talking about this, man. I think they are hearing it. We'll see if it changes anything. Ultimately, I don't think it will,
They'll
but they
just see
are
what
hearing some
they'll
backlash.
weigh what the pre-order numbers are and all that, and then
Right.
that's when it'll affect them or not. I mean, like the $80 thing, that's just like completely was just asinine to me. It's just completely ridiculous, a horse shit, and for me, just like I'm out. You know,
Right.
I was all in. I was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm excited, and then I saw that. Nope, those games are never gonna go on sale. And so I look at it from a perspective of me, right? And okay, there's gonna be a few Nintendo games that I want to buy, but I'm not the person that's willing to pay $80 per game, and for all the other games that'll end up being on the system, I can play those in other places. And I
Right.
would be more inclined to be more interested in getting like the Asus Xbox device that comes out later this year, where I have all
Mhm.
this same third party stuff for the most part, except the rare exclusives that will come out for that. And then I can also have my Game Pass subscription. I can have I shop for deals in different storefronts and all that kind of stuff, and actually have a device that is going to give me even better performance, probably, and all those kind of things for the games that I already own as well. So for me, it was like, okay, well, the point of me getting the Switch 2 would be so I can look forward to and play those Nintendo games. And when they said that those are going to be $80, not all of them, but probably all the
No,
ones that I would be the most inclined to want to get,
sure.
it's like, no, I'm not going to
No.
do that because
Right.
it's just not the way it should be. Like, and it's not something I want to partake in.
No.
Like I will continue to keep shopping for good deals on games and take advantage of games when they go on sale, and occasionally get one pay full price day and date if I really feel so inclined. You know what I mean? But I don't want that to be the standard for me. And when the platform holders saying that's the only way you can access these games, and that's what you're going to have to pay for them, and this is just the price you got to pay to get our experience, I'm just like, yeah, fuck, I'm out. you know Bye. Now,
Yeah.
the other problem I have with some of the reaction on this, Pong,
Yeah. Go. Go.
is that, yeah, you have your bootlickers, you have all that out there, but then you have the people that are looking for someone to blame besides
Oh,
Nintendo themselves.
yeah. Well, yeah.
You have those that are looking for somebody to blame because it can't be Nintendo's fault. No, it can't be Nintendo just wanting to make extra profit and be greedy. It has to be for a reason. And who does that reason fall on? Well, for a lot of people, it is Xbox.
Right.
This has been a thing I have seen numerous times. The first thing I saw was the terrorist thing, Pong. The second thing I keep seeing repeatedly is, well, what did you expect with Xbox not having exclusives anymore, putting themselves out of the market? Was it
Yeah.
Xbox's fault earlier this generation when the games went to 70? Like at the beginning of the generation? What was
No.
it Xbox's fault when like Nintendo just now decided to say $80? Is no way in hell Xbox's fault. You want to go out and blame a company that is giving you the best value as far as hardware with the Series S, giving you the best price you can get on a product that can play this generation games for hardware,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
They are selling the best value hardware product again, the lowest entry cost out there to get into this generation games is the Series S. They are making that product. They have a gaming subscription which gives you all of these games that they keep coming out with fucking day and date, including the one coming out soon, South of Midnight. We just had Avowed. You have even more games that hit day and date all the time. There's a ton of them announced for this year. And even on a lot of their games that I guarantee you have higher production costs, like even some of these other ones, they're still only charging $50 for some of these brand new. You can't tell me like Avowed was a lot less to make than some of these Nintendo first party games. Like Hellblade 2, right? They're charging $50. Even if you buy it, okay, you got Game Pass, you got all these other things that they're doing. Yeah, they put their games on other platforms, which is actually allowing them to sell more games to more people. Fine. Two, is that a bad thing for consumers? Is that a bad thing for the customer themselves? Is it actually affecting our experience? It's actually increasing the experience. Why aren't we asking for that to be the example from everybody instead of saying, hey, it's Xbox's fault that now Nintendo can get away with it? Nintendo was never fucking worried about third place console hardware selling Xbox before, when they're selling 100 fucking million Switches out there and Xbox was selling however many Series X. They weren't basing their business model on how many fucking games or consoles Xbox was selling. Like, the whole concept of that whole narrative from these people just looking for an out or an excuse for Nintendo because of Xbox is just one of the most asinine things that just leads into the whole thing about them being upset that Xbox isn't going to sell as many consoles as they want to because other people can play their games. Again, think about yourselves. What are you getting? Your experience. How much are we paying and having to pay to get access to the experience of the games that we're playing? We should be asking for better, not more expensive. Get your fucking head straight. I just don't understand. Xbox is setting the biggest competition for price. If everybody would stop bitching about those things and actually buy into it instead of complaining about it that they're not going to sell more consoles than somebody else, maybe that would set the example for the other companies to have to follow. If everybody started complaining about Nintendo being greedy, if everybody started complaining about PlayStation being greedy, and everybody said, hey, fucking Game Pass is where it's at, all these fucking games that they keep coming out with, oh, that's where it's at. Oh, yeah, I actually like the Series X hardware series. Instead of everybody complaining about every fucking thing Xbox does all the time, maybe at that point, the value that we're getting, the value proposition of everything that we have access to would set the standard. Then at that point, it would be like, oh shit, Nintendo's got to look at, hey, how are we going to do our gaming subscription and actually give players value with that instead of gatekeeping backwards compatibility. Maybe at that point, PlayStation would say, oh, maybe we got to figure out how to put our games in there sooner into our gaming subscription. Oh, maybe we shouldn't have gone up to $70 first as a platform holder. Oh, shit, maybe we're not selling as many consoles because we don't have as many first-party games coming out anymore. But no, everybody makes a fucking excuse for everything PlayStation does and everything Nintendo does, everything always attacks Xbox, no matter what, even if another company does something bad. Just get your fucking heads on straight, people. If Nintendo charges more for their games and you are not happy about it, your first reaction shouldn't be, well, there we go, Xbox went third party, here we go, this is what's happening. That's the most ludicrous argument and ridiculous thing I keep seeing online. It makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Mav? Two. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can even add anything to that because you're spot on. Again, Xbox has been
being the most competitive out there for us as customers. As like, I just don't understand.
Right, but
like,
it's the least respected in part because it's Microsoft, and also in part because Game Pass did not do what they thought it was going to do, because there isn't as many grazers as some of us believe there were out there. There isn't as many. There isn't as big an audience for Game Pass, but everybody uses Xbox as a scapegoat for pretty much everything. And again, this isn't me defending Xbox. The bias is obvious. I'm sorry for anybody who still doesn't recognize it. It's always been that way. Like, they've always been the redhead stepchild in this whole thing. And that's been from day one on the original, the OG Xbox. Okay. So it's just been a constant thing, but they've never been given credit for what they've tried to do. Like you said, Mav, again, if it's forced and people go, well, of course they have to, because they're third place. They got to do this stuff. Yeah, well, they still don't have to do that. There was definitely ways they could have gotten out. There was talk that they were going to get out of this gaming industry. So no, they didn't have to do anything. But if them giving more value to me as a gamer is because they're in third place and they got to do things to try to win, that's a part of competition. And I'm not, as a consumer, going to go, oh, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. Don't. That's just too much. Don't give me that Xbox. Don't give me that. Fuck off. No, I'm gonna take full advantage.
I don't think they should be putting Call of Duty in
And,
their subscription service because,
right.
I mean, come on,
No, and these narratives that Xbox don't that they train people to not buy games is ridiculous. Okay, listen, we've got the numbers for Sakana again. Game Pass hasn't blown them up the way they thought it would because there's not as many people that enjoy video games the way they enjoy TV shows and movies. Some of us believe that they could pull that off. Some of us believe that gamers might, as being that there is more gamers now in general, a lot more gamers, that they would find a big audience of people who were like those of us that enjoy games that way, and that Game Pass would explode. That obviously did not happen. They were incorrect in that. Okay. But the point of fact is that Circana has already pointed out that we are the like 3% who buy more than 2 games a year. Well, Xbox already has a smaller fan base. So yeah, they're going to still have a bunch of people who only buy a couple games or who are sitting satisfied playing Fortnite, Call of Duty, and Madden all fucking year long. Of course, that's going to reflect because they've already got a smaller fan base. So no, the sales numbers are never going to be as good as the other platforms simply out of math. But that's never recognized either. But this fact is that those of us in the ecosystem who are the 3%, 5%, whatever that number is, we do buy a lot of games on a yearly basis. And that's not anecdotal. That is a fact that we buy a lot of games. We buy a lot of third-party games. We buy a lot of first-party games. In fact, Xbox figured out how to take advantage of those of us that are in the ecosystem and start offering the premium upgrade path for the Game Pass games so that we could get the early access and get the bonuses. And we bought a shit ton of that. Just go look at the Forza Horizon numbers. A shit ton. So the fact is that a lot of this argument is not, in fact, reality, just like Mav, another narrative that has been going around this entire generation that is going to suddenly not look so good, and yet people will move the goalposts and people will not admit it. This entire generation has been a running narrative that the Series S was a mistake and that it has held back gaming, Mav.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the first one to point this out in any way, shape, or form. A lot of people have been pointing this out over the past couple days, Mav. But we're going to see a whole lot of fucking third-party developers suddenly want to optimize their games for a lesser console in the Switch 2. There's going to be a whole lot of Oh, in fact, we have already seen it. Cyberpunk is going all into on the card at 64 gigs for the Switch 2. We're going to see a whole lot of developers,
Elden Ring,
who talk shit or behind the scenes or cause smoke around the Series S and complained about doing that. They're going to put a big old smile on their fucking faces, aren't they, Mav? And they're going to make a Switch 2 version with less power than the Series S. Yeah, and it's going to work just fine on the Switch 2. That narrative's about to take a giant hit as well, but nobody's going to admit that either, Mav. And nobody's going to turn around and say, hey, devs, you guys kept talking about the Series S and man, what a problem child it was to work on because it's the least powerful. Suddenly all your games are working on the Switch too. How did that happen? I don't know. Yeah, you do. Because you decided that it was worth it.
Fahim says the Switch 2 does more, though. Does more what? I don't like does more.
Because it's got DLSS in it? Okay. Great. What? No.
The Series S is just put all the FX.
Fahim.
I don't does more what? I'm just actually asking.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel like typing like does more what?
Yeah. I'm just gonna say it does. Again, you don't have to do this, right? Again, the devs don't need protection either. They've made their bed in a lot of ways. Okay, the
Nintendo's
facts are
gonna
the
sell a
facts.
shit like us talking about this
Yes,
is not
yes.
going to
Nah,
the
it's not gonna
fucking
do shit. Yeah,
The Switch 2 is going to do massive
massive numbers.
numbers. Mario Kart
Yes.
World's gonna do massive numbers. They don't need your help. Like it's
The
okay.
devs don't need your help either. They're going to sell a shit ton on the Switch 2. It's just a point of fact that there's been a lot of narratives around that this is going to be debunked. Speaking of third parties, real quick, third parties confirmed from Nintendo Switch 2, and this is just a partial list. We talked about this, Matt, for months. We knew this was going to be big. Like, we knew this was coming. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, $70. That is going to have the entire game on the cart. Already saw people playing it. Performance mode, it does 40 frames. Quality mode, it does 30
that
frames.
more
locked.
than the Series S? I don't know. Maybe that's who's talking about.
No. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, going to be there. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade got an announcement for the Switch 2 before it did for Xbox. It's still coming to Xbox, according to some people, though. It is still coming to Xbox, but that got announced. Hades 2, Split Fiction, Street Fighter 6, Hogwarts Legacy, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. Yakuza 0 is getting a special director's cut that's going to be timed exclusive to the Switch 2 with a new mode, multiplayer mode. Looks dope as hell. Yakuza freaking 0.
Oh, did you know that Cyberpunk 2077 has a performance mode on Series S that does 60 frames?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm just saying.
And chances are that we might see some patches down the road for some of
maybe eventually the Switch 2 will get there.
Maybe they will. Hitman World of Assassination. Project 007 from IOI has already been announced.
Yeah.
I think that's the fact that was even talked about.
Maybe it's closer than we think. Yeah, maybe it'll be 2026 or 20. You know.
Yeah, it's got to be. We're gonna be seeing Bond soon enough, which is gonna be dope as hell. I just got excited for that. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Da-da,
Okay.
da-da,
It's gonna be so good, bro. From them? Oh my god, it's gonna be so good. Bravely Default Flying Fairy. This is dope, but they should bring that version to Xbox, but they haven't. Bravely Default is a fantastic JRPG. Borderlands 4 already announced. Randy's in. Randy's fucking in. Borderlands 4 is coming. Civ 7. That'd be a cool game on the go. I'm not gonna lie. Civ 7 on the Switch 2. WWE 2K and Madden, of course, is going to be there. It'll be just a matter of time before NBA 2K comes to the Switch 2 as well. I would not doubt that eventually Rockstar will get to a Red Dead 2 version for Switch 2 as well. I would imagine that's going to happen down the road. If not, was Red Dead 2 on the Switch? Was that streamable? I don't remember.
I don't remember. I think maybe.
I don't think it was available on Switch. I think that one wasn't. I can't remember. Anyways, the point being is what I was saying before. The update to tech that Nintendo's doing is going to help the third parties more than it's going to help their first party, because their first parties aren't going to change the types of games they're going to make. I can't see them changing the types of games they're going to make. Their games are charming, quote unquote, to a massive group of people, and they're not going to risk that charm by suddenly going to UE5 or doing something crazy. That charm comes from the art style and the art direction that they use in their games. And that art style and art direction, while it might be timeless to a ton of people, does not require bigger and more impressive tech. It just doesn't. Are they going to find ways to use some of this new power? Of course they are. We're going to get 4K on a lot of their first party games? Of course we are. We're going to get 120 frames on a lot of their games? Of course we are. But are they all of a sudden going to do some different style? No, they're not. But where the benefit does come is the third parties who have been licking their chops to get a portion of Nintendo fan base. Now, we're going to find out real quick too, though, Mav, because there is the narrative that Nintendo fans don't buy third party, that they only care about Nintendo branded games. Whether or not that's true, Mav, because we got some heavy hitters in this initial launch list. We're going to find out whether or not Nintendo fans actually do buy outside of Nintendo first party, and how much they buy outside of Nintendo first party. But the third party companies, of course, believe that they're going to be able to sell. And that's a big, giant fan base over there, Mav.
Oh yeah.
That's a big giant fan base that they're licking their chops on.
I was. Were you surprised we didn't see from all the third party support more like Xbox games
Yeah,
like
I said
at
that from the
there?
beginning. I
Yeah,
totally
like
thought,
yeah, because
yeah,
we had Tony Hawk 3 and 4 there, but
yep,
like
I totally thought we would get a
I
Doom
was
Dark
wondering, yeah,
Ages.
Doom the Dark Ages. I
Yeah,
thought we
I
could see
totally thought
that there, or maybe like
Indiana.
yeah, maybe one of the other yeah, one of the other games.
Mhm. Yeah, I thought
Forza
I
Horizon.
completely Forza Horizon. Yeah, I totally thought we would. Maybe they don't get dev kits yet. Maybe they didn't get them in time. Maybe they said this is going to be a rollout, right? So maybe they're just not in the first launch. But again, you want to be in this initial launch lineup for a lot of reasons. Because again, first party wise, Nintendo has a decent offering. It's not their usual for a console launch, though. I would say if you put them up next to again, because I'm not counting the Switch 2 versions of games that have already been out. If you throw those in there, okay, they got a big lineup. But overall, they don't have a big lineup. So people are going to be looking to show off their Switch 2. And I said this all along. Like to show off your Switch 2, you're gonna plug in a Cyberpunk and play Cyberpunk on the go and think that's pretty freaking cool. A lot of people are, or Elden Ring, a lot of people are gonna think that's dope too. I am surprised that there wasn't more Xbox games there. Like I said, Doom the Dark Ages, I thought for sure would be announced here. I thought that was lock
Yeah,
for sure.
maybe we'll
Um,
see more announcements later. You can see.
I think
I think even at
we
the
will.
Xbox's own shows are willing to make those kind of announcements now too. So
I think that's open. I think that's open season now. I think we are
mhm.
going to see those multi-plat, obviously announcements
Yeah,
at the Xbox show. So, um, it is what it is at this point. From Software taking advantage of that exclusive game. That's going to sell a shit ton alongside Elden Ring when Dustblood comes out next year. Oh my
hmm
god, bro. It's gonna be massive for them. The other thing I wanted to bring up that came out, Mav, outside of the price point was that there is now what's called game key cards. This won't be the first time. Again, there was games that were stream only, but they're actually promoting. This is actually going to be on the box, man.
yeah,
So all the people that collect Nintendo games physically, the Nintendo fans that collect them physically, which is a great investment because they do just generally go up in price because they never go on sale. Um, and they're proud of their collections. They should be. Anybody should be proud of physical collections. These are new game key cards. Game key cards are different from regular game cards because they don't contain the full game data. Instead of the game key card is your key to downloading the full game to your system via the internet. Oh, man, some DRM. Sounds like Xbox One.
yep,
So you actually do get this card. You plug it into the Switch 2, but then you just get that access key to download the game. And so you got to download the full game. Now, the thing is that it has come out that you're going to be able to that game is not locked. That game key card is not locked to a system. So you will supposedly be able to trade these things, borrow them to your friends, sell them. Like supposedly that's the case. My question is obviously not going to happen if you still have that game installed on your device,
yeah. You probably
right?
have to have it in when you're playing the
On
game. Yeah,
Right, and I would imagine that's gonna be the case, right? So that is a little bit different, but this is now Nintendo embracing the digital age,
yeah.
which
It's
some
the
people
same
didn't
thing
believe was gonna
as
happen.
most discs
Yeah.
these days. People are used to
Yes.
it more with the
Right.
disc and stuff. But like
Correct.
for Nintendo
But
fans, it's
Nintendo
like
was the
what?
last
Yeah,
bastion.
yeah. But I think it was necessary with them increasing the third party support
Right.
from all these devs. So, like, I know Nintendo fans are gonna freak out. I think it's like just a necessity based on tech of how big the games are gonna be file size wise and stuff.
Yes.
Like, is they're
Correct.
gonna be too big to fit on these little cartridges, and in order to have the cartridge size to fit a lot of those games, you would probably have to pay a
Yeah.
shit ton more for the physical copy of the games. So at that point, it's not cost efficient for the publisher or for the um customer. You know what I mean? So that like in order to fit a lot of the games that we would be installing on our consoles these days that are on disc, we would have to have a new format. Like so. At the end of the day, it's just kind of for me, it's just a limit of technology of and cost. And at the end of the day, it sucks. Yeah, it sucks for the collectors that want to buy a physical thing and just let it sit there and never have to rely on any kind of DRM or anything like that. But that was never where technology was headed, unfortunately. And I do think that it's good to be able to still have your game and sell it to somebody and trade it in and all that other kind of stuff, if you want to, and people will still be able to do that with those games. But it'll just be reliant in the future on somebody being able to have a connection to be able to install it. The same thing everybody bitched about at the Xbox One generation at the beginning, right, with DRM and all that stuff. And eventually, all games ended up being like that anyway. For the most part, it's very few and far between. With like, hey, the whole game is on the disc now on any of these big ass, massive AAA games and stuff, right? So it's like, yeah, Nintendo's just now third parties. That's what it's gonna be. So
Yeah, I was surprised Cyberpunk 64 gigs, they put it on a card. So
yeah,
I was surprised about that, but a lot of third party companies aren't going to do that for
no,
sure.
they're not gonna like. There's a lot of games that are out there like 80, 90 gigs and stuff.
Yeah,
Like, it's just not gonna be able to fit it.
right.
So they'd have to have like 128 gigabyte drive or 100 gig. You know what I mean? And it's like it's not it's not gonna happen. So I think that
Another good,
most of the Nintendo first party will probably be actually all on the cartridge. I'm not sure
yeah,
if
I
Mario
think all
Party
good.
World was or Mario Kart World was or
Well,
not.
I think well they already confirmed though, like what you would call Kirby was not.
Really, Kirby?
Yeah,
Kirby was gonna
yeah,
have to be a game, one of the game things.
it's choosing to be that one of the game things. Yes,
Okay. Well, hey, fuck. Yeah, that's
yeah,
just
because
I
I
don't
think that was
understand
right.
that one.
Hold on, let me pull it because I think somebody pulled. Yeah, I think. Hold on, let me see if I can confirm that one. Uh, oh no, maybe I was seeing something else. Maybe I was seeing. I know there was at least one or two of the first party titles that were confirming that.
Yeah,
So
Miss
anyway,
Waffle says they put Cyberpunk on 2 discs. That is an option. Yeah,
yeah, it is an
cool.
option, but again, most places are not. Again, this is nothing new for those of us that have been PlayStation or Xbox. Like again, like Mav said, the discs we've known for a long time. This is not like even this generation. Like this goes back last generation that the discs were just keys, right? And that's been a big contention point of whether or not for the consumer that's the right thing to do. It's just most people believe that Nintendo wouldn't start embracing this kind of stuff this fast, but they have. Again, showing that Nintendo again don't fucking care. They're a corporation, they're greedy just like the rest of them, and they're going to do what they're going to do, what's best for the business and what's best for the shareholders. And they don't care about what their fans necessarily think as far as this part of it goes because they know their fans aren't going anywhere because they're all addicted to Zelda and Mario and you can't get it anywhere fucking else.
I
It's the
think
only place you can get your fix.
also I think Nintendo just sees the increasing of the digital age and is getting everything prepared for
Sure.
that. And they're gonna like the other thing they had announced with the virtual cards or whatever,
Yeah.
the sharing, all these kind of things are just like getting prepared for that future where it's gonna be even them as mostly digital. Because
Yeah.
like even if in a dream world things were just all still physical and all that stuff, still at that point retail would be successful, but with physical. But as retail dwindles as well, like GameStop and these places aren't just going to stay open only for Nintendo. That's
Right.
been supporting them like heavily for a while, but they're all shutting. A lot of these big box retailers have either decreased the amount of games that they're selling, have available, or getting rid of them altogether and stuff. And it's like, as all of that goes, so does the buying habits also of the consumer continue to be more digital because of convenience factor. And it's just ultimately at the end of the day, that's just where I think they see things headed, and they're getting prepared for it. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's certainly possible when Nintendo hasn't been the greatest at keeping up, obviously, with
yeah,
tech.
we
But I think the
celebrated
reality is
fucking
coming.
party chat
But
for
but they also but they
it's
right,
like,
right,
I
right.
mean,
But they
come on.
also when it comes to protecting protecting their IP and their games, they are going to do everything. Again, they're out here suing creators. They're out here
Mhm.
suing and shutting down emulation, right? They're out here. They're like the bully of the industry when it comes to that side of things. They are the biggest bully out here. So the fact that they're going to start embracing DRM and start, like you said, Matt, preparing for the digital future actually should not be a surprise because that goes a long ways towards them locking down all their IP so nobody has a chance to play it outside of their systems, right? And I think that that is a part of it, like you said too, as well. Um, There's another bright spot piece of information for all you Metroidvania fans and obviously your Hollow Knight Silksong fans. They did confirm Hollow Knight Silksong. They did show off some new art. They confirmed it for Switch 2. And along with confirming it coming to Switch 2, they also confirmed that it was still coming in 2025. So for all the Silksong fans out there, there's a whole freaking lot of ya, Hollow Knight fans, I should say. It's coming in 2025. They doubled down with this announcement. So we still don't have a date. They did say 2025. So
Cool,
keep
man.
that in mind. Yeah, a lot of people are excited about that. Anything else you want to touch on with the Switch 2 here, Mav? We've been going for
I mean,
several months.
yeah, I mean, it just like ultimately, I wish the 80 thing didn't happen.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, it may eventually, if everybody else ends up going up the same prices at some point, which is probably going to end up happening now, as Nintendo will set the trend and then they'll sell shit tons of games and all this stuff. That's why, argue against it when it happens. Eventually, maybe at some point later, I'll revisit it. But right now, I have no desire to buy a system that plays games that look like last generation games at the best and that are going to be selling them at $80 that will hardly ever go on sale.
For me,
And
there are very few games that are worth. Are there games that are worth it to me? I've already admitted that there would be. There
right.
would be games
There's
that
not
have
one
been
right
my next,
now. If there is
but
one,
there's not.
there will be one, right? Right now
Right.
that game doesn't exist.
Right. Right. So yeah, no, I'm in the same boat, man. Again, I don't need it. I just don't need it. I don't. So, and if this is the way the industry's going, again, then the more I will be invested in PC. I'm not saying I
Yeah.
will get out of consoles completely because I'm still on board with what Xbox is doing for next generation for sure. So I'm not saying that I won't be there, but I will be purchasing more and more games on the PC side of things. And for anybody else like Xbox or PlayStation, if I do have a console for those guys, then I would wait on sales because at least I know they still have a lot of sales. Whereas Nintendo, like you said, just doesn't do
Yeah.
sales. So,
Man, I wish
um,
it'd be a dream if they could enter the PC market, man.
oh yeah, oh my god, it'd be huge, bro.
Yeah, all the other
It would be
handhelds you
massive.
could get that can play them and like the
Yeah, yeah, they make. I mean, Steel's point is all. I mean, again, it's never say never. Nintendo's just very protective of their IP. But eventually, especially just the PC, I'm not ever going to say Nintendo go to PlayStation or Xbox. I don't think that would happen. But on PC, they would just make so much money. Eventually, the corporation, the greed part of it, might overtake whatever
I think
reservations.
I think if the hardware ever sees a stall or a decline, their way of making up because like the Switch 2 games are only going to be on the Switch 2 remote, right? So
Right.
like the Switch 2 games are like, okay, well, we're not going to have as many sold right away, so we don't have as our like however many Switches out there that are going to the customer
Mhm.
base that's going to be able to buy as many copies of those right away. So I
Right.
think that's part of their thinking, like, well, we'll just charge $80 for those, and that way we'll make up the difference.
Yeah.
It's like, but if you were to enter a different market, you just have that many more customers, and you that does that necessity of or the feeling of needing to make more off of each one that you have is gone. That was Xbox's thinking a lot actually when they made the decisions to put their games in
For a
more
little bit.
places. As Phil was talking about, it's like,
Yeah.
well, do we
Yeah.
make our games more expensive? Do we increase monetization,
Well,
or do we sell them to
we're gonna
more
find out.
people? You know?
We're gonna find out. And for everybody who says Game Pass is gonna go up, yeah, I do believe Game Pass is gonna go up. Yes, they're gonna raise the price. I don't think that's. It's not going out on a limb. Nobody's saying anything I don't know. Again, I've got a price. There again, values to me is different because of how many games I touch and how many games I play.
Yeah.
They're going to increase Game Pass. They are.
Oh,
Again, I
100%.
believe that's why they're holding back the library of Activision games is for that day to
Probably get
increase the value
another
of the
I think we get another
proposition.
announcement this year for increase.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I think so too. I think we do too. Now we'll see if Xbox follows suits with this $80 game thing for their first party. That's going to be interesting to watch, like
I
you
don't
said, Mav.
I
Because
I don't know, man, because like a lot some of their games that they could sell for more, they're selling at 50. you
Well,
know?
yeah, they have started varying, like,
Yeah.
they've
They have
done that a
some at
couple times.
50, they have some at 60, they have some at 70, you know what I mean? And it's
Is that
like,
also gonna be a trend is that also gonna be a trend now where we start getting that? Like, "Oh, we think this game," like,
well,
like
it's
the new
even with
series over Double
Nintendo, it
2?
seems to be right now
Right.
too, like
That's what I'm saying.
70 and 80, like,
Are they gonna I mean, I guess I'm okay with that, but, again, there's gonna be very few games, again, and just touching on it, I do believe that Strauss and 2K are going to push GTA 6 $90 to $100 for base game. I do believe that's going to happen,
oh,
especially now. But I believed it was going to happen anyways because I don't believe they care. I think they're just going to do it. But because Strauss has talked about that exact point, Mav, is that he believes there's certain games that are more valuable than others and should charge more, right? Because they bring more to the table. But again, that's going to be in the eye of the beholder. And our point has always been, Mav, and I think we all talked about this at some point when we were talking about the pricing of games. If you are going to do that, then these games can't come out broken anymore.
mhm.
Like I don't care what excuses. Like if you are going to start charging this type of money for one experience, you that game better come out in perfect shape. Like that, there is no excuse. And again, that's been the arguing point for some people who claim, "Oh, I'll pay $100 for a game. I'll pay $100 for a first party exclusive because the quality is going to go up." That thing better be perfect, man. No
That's what we
patches,
should
no day one
expect no
patches.
matter what they're charging.
Right, and we should, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if they're going to honestly start going this route, their games better be fucking 100% perfect.
Yeah, but I think it's,
Oh,
like, because that's the excuse, "Well, they'll be able to have more polish and more optimization and all that." People made the same
right.
argument when
I
these
gotta go grab
companies, yeah, people made the same argument about, like, "Hey, upping the price, you better quality, less monetization," all those other kind of things when games were announced to go to $70. That's what the games media and all these people out there were saying was like, $70, right? Yeah, it's just because of the cost, like, allows them to not have to rush the games out as much. They'll have more time. They games will and they better be polished because they're getting that extra money and they will be. And then you're gonna have, like, um all these season passes, all these other things are gonna go away. It's just gonna be complete experiences. That's just what they need in order to keep all that stuff from the customer, right? That's what everybody was saying. And they was like, no, it doesn't fucking matter. They just made 10 extra bucks off of everybody. This is like they just made 10 extra bucks on the same shit they were doing before. And the games actually this generation, especially the first few years of this generation, launched well, like has probably some of the worst optimization we've seen from games launching. And like games were either have major performance issues, crashing issues, save issues, all that stuff, but we saw just an increase on monetization across the industry for the most part. So like the pricing overall for the game has never been an excuse on quality. I think it's like a company standard thing. Overall, Nintendo's done a good job of that, but there has been flaws. Sometimes they get passes on them because of their history, but I don't expect the prices ever to actually reflect what these companies actually put out. They're actually, I think, ultimately just charging what they think they can, and
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah,
absolutely.
you're right. That as a consumer, we should definitely always expect that. You know,
Mm,
it's just weird the conversations of the people that make the excuses and say, well, that's going to allow them to do these things. You know, don't get it.
that's fine. Everybody's allowed to say what they think. Like, again, I don't shut down conversations or try to gatekeep conversations. The pseudo intellectuals that try to do that, I disagree with, and I'll voice my opinion about them trying to shut down conversations. But go ahead, talk all you want about that shit. Say everything's great, and that this is just fine because companies are more than right to do this. Like again, that's fine.
And
I
and to your point, Pong too. I have if anybody if for anybody in the chat, anybody that listens to any of our content, whatever, if you are super excited for the Switch 2 and you
fuck
are
yeah.
all in on it and you were excited about Mario
I'll tell
Kart
you,
World and you have no problems, or even if you do have problems with it or whatever, like and you're still excited or whatever, just hey, cool. Doesn't matter what I say or what
Oh god,
Pong
no.
says or
They got
anybody else out there. Don't let us ruin your joy and excitement for the thing that you are excited for. Go and buy that shit. Buy the games you want. Say whatever you want, but I will also say whatever I want as well about the same issue, the same things, right? So it's an interesting time. I think the biggest thing on that Pong was just like I think everybody was shocked
Yeah.
by the $80 thing.
Even Nintendo fans were. Again, even
Right.
the Nintendo drones were shocked, like a lot of them. I mean, it is a lot, and they also hiked the prices on their accessories. Like that Pro controller is $90, or the
Yeah.
Joy Cons are $90. The Pro controller is like $80. Like,
Yeah.
yo, no
It
Hall joysticks. Like, really?
Yeah, Psycho
Okay.
says you see people bringing up SNES games being $80 to $90. Man, SNES games were $50, man, for the most part, like across the board.
Yeah,
Like,
and I don't.
I don't, I see that maybe like there was like a rare occasion, there was like a special thing or something, or like a rare game that was hard to get, but like they were $50. I remember when the games went up from 50 to 60.
And for the people that do that, my point always is, why don't you ever bring up the buying power of the dollar back then versus what it is now? Nobody brings that shit up, Mav.
Mhm.
Nobody. Everybody who tries to do macroeconomics, nobody brings that up. Go ahead and compare the buying power of the dollar back then versus what it is now. Go ahead and compare the salaries and the hourly wages and the rate of inflation from back then to now. We haven't kept up. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not even close to the same. Even if you want to go that route, it's not even close to the same. And that didn't last very long. And we
Mhm.
saw those prices come back down again. Oh, why? Oh, that's right. Because a lot of people weren't even buying that expensive games back then. And then the other point, Matt, which you brought up before, that we've brought up plenty of times, the other part that they never talk about is this industry from a consumer standpoint has grown exponentially over that same time frame. You now have a bigger pool of players buying games, which means you have the opportunity to make more money that keeps the prices down. Like it's not as comparable. Back then you had a small group of gamers compared to what you have now. You have a sea of gamers now. You have a sea of games, there's a sea of competition, but you had a very small group of gamers back then compared to what you have now,
Yeah.
right?
And
It's
like
different. And digital versus physical, all that shit
and
comes into
nobody
play.
brings up that like VHS tapes were actually crazy expensive too because they just come out. Like at one point, there were those were the expensive things. But like
You want
when they went down to like $3 for a VHS or whatever, you could buy a whole fucking pack of them for crazy cheap. It wasn't people like, oh, we should be paying more for these now because of inflation. That was fucking so stupid when it comes to media and cost of like a production for like media and entertainment and stuff. The argument holds no fucking weight when it comes to that, especially for formats. Like it's just such a stupid, ignorant thing for people to run with. However, they can say what they want. uh,
It's fun. Yeah, the VHS tape. God, man, what a fun
do
rabbit
you
hole
remember
that is.
how much those were back in the
Go
day,
go
like originally?
go look up anime VHS tapes, Mav,
Oh yeah,
because they had to be imported. Go back there. I was a fan. Suncoast Video, one of the only places you could find a lot of anime VHS tapes. Robotech tapes, $40 to
yeah.
$50
With,
for
with that with
VHS
that
tape.
level of thinking, we should have to pay like $250 if we go into a store and buy a VHS today.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Come on.
Right.
Psycho with the $2 super chat says it's all 3-bit's fault. $80
Yeah,
games.
everything is. 3-bit
Thanks,
screwed it
Psycho.
all up.
Yeah. What did he come up with that idea? Man, we gotta ask him to stop sending memos to PlayStation and Nintendo. Sorry,
And Nintendo.
Nintendo. No, not PlayStation. Nintendo.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Nintendo Switch 2 is going to probably, barring something drastic being wrong with the system or something crazy coming out, it's going to be a massive hit.
Yeah.
It's going to be a massive hit. Like I said, and I'm not going to judge anybody for going and buying this stuff. Again, I buy dumb shit too. I support dumb companies too. We all do. Okay, so I'm not gonna
Yeah.
sit there and
Fucking drink
judge you like that.
Starbucks, you know, like
But
fucking
I am not. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I'm just not going to defend companies.
yeah.
I just won't.
Every time I go through
Um,
the drive-through and fucking Starbucks is like
do something
20
wrong.
cents more that time.
Right,
I'm like, fuck
right,
you while I'm driving away.
right, right. So, but anyways, overall though, again, the Switch 2, it was good up until this stuff came out. I was in line. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. And I was kind of excited for next year. But again, it's not something I need. Everybody's right about that. This is a hobby, right? People are right when they say that. You don't have to do this. No, none of us do. Plenty of other stuff to do. And I've got choices, and that's what I'm going to make with this. And I've lived without Nintendo games for this long. I guess I live with them without them for a little bit longer. And that's just the way it'll be for me right now. Like you said, Mab, maybe it changes down the road, but I just don't need it. I just don't need it, and I'm not happy with this $80 price point. I'm just not. Knowing again that they won't go on sale.
Yeah.
That's the big caveat.
Yeah,
Knowing that the
that
stuff goes
I
on there.
could be okay if I know that they go on sale, but like
Like,
without them going on sale, it's like well, that's just the price of entry to their games. Like I can be patient, you know.
yeah,
I've developed the
very
skill
true.
of that this generation.
Yes. Oh shit. Anything else you want to touch on, Math? Or should we get everybody out of here?
No, I think
We
we're
get
good,
small
man.
stuff. All right,
Um,
everybody. Nintendo heavy. We do have, I will let everybody know this. If you guys didn't see this, there is, I mentioned it earlier, but according to two game leakers, and these are Apex Legends leakers, okay? This got leaked in a Discord during April Fools. I kind of did a little bit of backstory just to find out. Rebs Gaming put it out too. This came out during April Fools in a Discord. So everybody just took it as an April Fool's joke. But then they followed up and said, yeah, it's kind of fun playing with everybody on April Fools and actually dropping something that's true. So this is actually true. Like we dropped it on April Fools, but this is actually a true thing. So through some data mining and through some connections, they are stating that Titanfall 3 is in production, will be announced this year, potentially at the Game Awards, and will come out next year in 2026.
yeah, if that happens, man, it's gonna be super awesome. Yeah. You know, it's still the top review. It's like the top reviewed game. If like you go to the
Oh,
Xbox store, it's like for like hey top reviewed games and stuff. It's like the top reviewed game still.
yeah, bro, I
It's
believe it.
yeah.
Can you
It's
imagine Zampella puts out a great Battlefield and then follows it up with Titanfall fucking 3?
oh yeah, oh yeah. Just don't
I'm
charge $80 for it, please.
gonna be in heaven. I'm gonna be in heaven. My two favorite first person shooters. I'll be in heaven. Yeah, just don't charge $80. Oh, you know EA is gonna jump on board with that shit too. Jesus.
Yeah, like Titanfall's weird. They've always sold it after launch for like dirt cheap in sales. It's like you'll get it like
Yes.
2.99 and stuff like all the time.
Constantly. Yeah.
But I'm wondering how many players overall it's eventually had because of all the
Hackers took over
sales.
too. The
Yeah.
hackers took over too. That was so bad
We did
for a while.
miss a couple super chats earlier.
Okay, go ahead.
Apologize. It took so long to get to them. We were just caught up in our
Yeah.
ridiculous conversations. Alvin hit us earlier with the $2 super chat. Said Tears Switch 2 version or is $80. Breath of the Wild 70
70, correct.
for
Yep.
Breath of the Wild. So thanks for that. And also Razor Ultron had hit us with a $2 super chat a while back that said Xbox better. As far as value goes,
Yeah.
to the consumer, there's like no argument like as far as how much they're delivering at with good quality games for the price that they're asking, right? And for me that's and also more access to them than anybody else too. So just across the board, you have more access, more features, consumer friendly features, you have better value, and more games. And so it's like, what, like, and that's why I just get so ticked off. Anybody who's like tries to blame Xbox, like, for the whole Switch being as popular as it is, charging what they want. And it's like, well,
Do
if
that
we
anyway.
argued more for the stuff that Xbox is delivering for us, that would actually put the onus on Nintendo and PlayStation. But no, instead, people just complain about it. So
Well, right. And
it
again, it's fine. The popular kids
yeah,
win, bro. That's
it is
what
what it is.
happens. I've been
Yeah.
saying this forever. Again, that's why exclusivity does work when you again, the popular kids win because you can only go one place to get those games. And not going to sit here and say that everybody has to like Xbox games because that's obviously not true. Now, I don't like most Nintendo games. So again, not about that, but it's when you're the popular kids, you can get away with anything. And the competition, whatever competition there is, doesn't matter. Nintendo found its own place and created a
Mhm.
very, very strong fan base. PlayStation won out in the old space between them and Xbox. So you got two popular kids and you got the redheaded stepchild in Xbox. This is the way it is. The two popular kids don't give a shit what the redheaded stepchild does. Okay. Unless it comes to buying ABK, then all of a sudden they care. Well, at least PlayStation does. But that's it. Otherwise, they're going to continue to do what they do anyways. That's what this market has turned into. For better or for worse, this is where we're at. So
And
they're going
it's
to take
crazy
advantage
that
of it.
still Xbox now because everything that they've done is the number one publisher in gaming.
Correct. They're doing it a different way.
Just did a
Just
different
do it
way.
a different way, man. That's all it is.
100%.
Great show tonight. Great conversations again around Nintendo. We don't do it very often, but obviously this is a big giant week. We said this was going to be fascinating. Switch 2 is entering the market. It's going to cause waves. Not in the waves that we thought necessarily. It's going to cause those waves too, but we got extra ripples on this
Yeah.
one because I do think this is going to lead the way for some other companies following suit that maybe weren't going to push those boundaries quite yet. I think Nintendo's going to go ahead and open up the door for them.
Is
But we're going to
another besides GT real quick, besides GTA 6, do you
yes.
see another game that could potentially release this year or early next year or something that somebody would ask more than $70 for?
I'd have to look.
On that, not
I'd
on Nintendo, obviously they'll do it.
Yeah, not a Nintendo. I'd have to look. But COD certainly could.
So, yeah, they could.
COD
No, I
certainly
don't think they
could.
would do it with this year's COD. I think if they did it, they would do it with
I
next
don't
year's.
think so. They would do it this year, but next year, yeah.
With like
When it goes next gen only,
Ghost of Yote, have they announced the price for that?
no, they could. They could charge on that. I mean, PlayStation could do it with their exclusives. I mean, again, that's
Yeah,
they could certainly do that. They believe they've got the fan base to do it, right? And obviously, their fan base has already stated that they would buy whatever. So
yeah. I'm
again,
just wondering.
well,
So I was
see.
thinking about it, like trying to think about which games would. I mean, NBA 2K could try.
Right?
They
Would
didn't this year. But they could try next year.
Borderlands 4 try it? Would Randy try it? Now that he's under
Ooh.
2K.
That'd
He
be
might.
crazy. Borderlands? I don't know. I mean, it's
It's
popular.
popular.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely
It's not
see
that popular.
I could definitely
I'm
see
just
Red Dead whenever a new Red Dead comes out.
Oh,
Them
yeah,
doing it,
of course, of course. Well, GTA is gonna walk
Yeah, yeah.
door off of that shit. So,
Um,
uh,
yeah, just interesting thought.
yeah, I don't know, but the major releases, yeah, the
Yeah, we
major
might see
releases,
just
big
like you
boys.
said, more of a scale. Maybe the games will be anywhere between, you know, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80 now. It's gonna be fucking
Maybe
weird world
GTA
to
comes
live
out at
in.
150. That's the bar, and then you just work down from there. How close
One
to
one
GTA do you
fifty.
think? How close to GTA do you think you are?
How much do you
That's the
think
bar.
GTA 6 could get away with selling it for before it actually costs them the ability to sell like at a mass volume?
What I think 150.
It's
I,
crazy.
I it's a total
I,
guess. I
if they
have
put it,
no
I think if
idea.
they put out like a GTA 6 launching at $150, like I
If they showed off map and
that would
it's
be
the
like a
quality that we expect it to be, if it's Rockstar quality, and they are going to have
it
online
would
working
have to blow our fucking minds, I think,
for some, yes,
Yeah.
for some of us, yeah. I'm just saying you're talking about the masses that play GTA like they play Fortnite, like the masses and that's a large group. Like that GTA line, they would convince themselves that 150 is fine because of the hours they put into it. And there is a point to that.
Yeah, I think
There
there's
is
definitely some people that would buy
there's
it,
a
but I'm
value
just
to it.
wondering about the
Right.
mass. You know,
I think 150. I think people would go and seriously buy it at 150
I don't
because
know.
it's already be, it becomes a status symbol. If people look at the amount of people that spend $300 on tennis shoes, I'm
Yeah.
people would convince themselves that GTA was worth 150 bucks, 1000%. A large portion. Would you lose some? Yes. It wouldn't be as big as, what it would be at 80, 90, 100. But do I still think it would be massive and would they lose half? No, I don't wouldn't lose half. If we're saying like instead of 70 they go to 150, they wouldn't lose half their customers by doing that.
They wouldn't lose
They would
half, you know,
actually gain.
no. Yeah, it's
No.
crazy to think about, man. I'm just curious, like, we're all for, like, cheering on our greedy corporations, so I'm just curious, how much they can get away with charging us
Go
so that way we
Strauss.
can put it out
Go
there.
for it.
Hey, Strauss. Hey, man, I think you could get at least 120 out of us. You know what I mean, buddy?
Do
Why not
early
go
access.
for it? I won't
150
complain.
with
I'll just
early
go
access.
into people's chat rooms and say, "Hey, it's gonna be worth it."
150 with early access. They would sell about the same.
Anybody, I'll look for YouTube channels that are complaining about it, and I'll make sure I go and I'll tell them, hey, you know
Antonio,
what?
you could
The cost of this game was so much to make. It took them so many years. It's going to be unlike anything we've ever seen before. It's going to be
people
worth it. It's going to be worth it, guys. 120. Have you ever seen a game like GTA 6 before? Hey, they're changing it.
Bro, people saying that's too much. Think about it. Think about how you justify prices in your
Shit.
head. Most people justify prices, right, Mav?
Yeah.
150 is 2 games. Most people would say that's 2 games.
Yeah.
So I'm just buying a game instead of buying one extra game, I'm buying GTA 6. I think there's a massive group of GTA fans and GTA players who absolutely would say, I give
Yeah.
up one game to play GTA 6.
Yeah, 100%, man. GTA 6 is big enough to be worth 2 games. What do you mean? It makes sense.
Yeah, yes.
Everything just makes sense. That they can charge what they want. It's a free country.
It's a terrible but fun conversation to have. And I
100%.
think Strauss is gonna test it, and we're gonna find out,
Yeah.
because if it comes out at 100, if it comes out at 90,
If he
100,
as long as
the
he
people
doesn't do that pay per the hour idea he had that one
oh,
time.
what's his face from EA, that the Battlefield guy who was gonna pay for reloading your gun,
Yeah.
each reload.
Or Mike Ibarra who wanted us to tip the devs after the game's over.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah,
enough
no.
I get enough questions to tip every time I buy fucking food anywhere now. Like somebody just hands you something through the drive-through and they stick an iPad in your face. Hey, do you want to tip 20% for me handing you this drink?
Yeah.
No,
No,
thank
no,
you.
we're not.
I'm sorry. I'm not
No, no.
I never did this 20 years ago. Why all of a sudden do I got to do it now? And now they want to put it in front of our fucking screens at the end of a game. Hey, did you enjoy this? Why don't you tip the developers? How much would you like to tip? 20% of the development cost is only $80 million. Would you like to tip that?
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that for sure. We are not.
How much can you afford to
Hold
give?
on 1 second. Just 1 second.
Yeah. I'm dragging the show on. Pong's trying to get the fuck out of here. It's like, man, shut up. I already said we're going to not talk about anything else and we're going to do the outros. And I keep ranting and talking bullshit. It's Mike Ibarra has been shitting on Nintendo on Twitter all day. I know. I've seen that. And I think I saw, oh no, it's Alex call him out. But like, aren't you this guy that said that we should be like tipping the devs extra? No, I also seen Alex complain about, I think, the price as well. So like, yeah, anybody that's celebrating the price, that's fine. You do you. I won't talk shit about you individually. Just your ideas. Anyway,
I mean, they're not wrong. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it's all opinions.
It is. Except for the pseudo intellectuals think that they're actually right. So whatever. Again, at the end of the day, they're just as wrong as we are. So, anyways, about a lot of things. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, nobody wants to talk about it, but I think Strauss is going to push it. So sorry, guys in the chat. We'll find out. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll be generous and not do it, but I think Strauss is going to push it.
Shit, real good.
And no, I won't buy. I'm not going to buy GTA. So,
yeah, regardless.
No, I'm not. Not until it comes on PC.
Oh, okay. What if it's part of the stream your own game feature?
Don't care. Again, I'm not that big a fan of GTA anymore, so no, I don't need it. GTA 5 is coming back to Game Pass for anybody who wants to play it, though.
Yeah, I saw people
Supposedly.
complaining about that on the post.
Complain about what?
Dude, it's like
We're getting another another game?
yeah. Yeah, because y'all put this game in there 10 times already. Why is Game Pass and Xbox such shit? Give us some good games finally. What they said.
What
And
the hell?
that's what it said in the go look at the replies to them announcing GTA 5 is coming to Xbox. Hey, I'm telling you,
Well,
we live in a crazy world where even you just have a simple little announcement like that and people just find a way to
that is
shit on
that is
things.
one weird part of the community that's happened after Game Pass, like, to complain about free games coming into Game Pass. Like, again, if
This
the
is like if
value's
it was
not
been
there,
there
cancel your
before.
subscription. Like, if the value's not there, cancel your damn subscription. How hard is this? You guys all do it with Netflix. You all do it with all your other subscriptions. Why is Game Pass different? Like, if it's not giving you the value, then why don't you fucking cancel it? Wait for it till it does. What what the fuck is going? Like, that is a weird thing, man.
Yeah.
And how you're not finding value right now with everything that else has come out, I can't. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm still waiting for Oblivion announcement, the remake.
But yeah,
I need the announcement. That was supposed to
I think it'll
happen.
happen soon.
I think it'll happen soon too.
It would have
Uh,
been cool if that was announced at the Switch 2 show.
Yeah, it would have been. A lot of people guessed that was going to happen because a lot of people thought it was supposed to happen here in this week, but
Yeah.
that's all right. I'm waiting. It's gonna be another damn game this year. All right, let's get everybody out of here. I gotta go to bed. I'm losing steam. Past my bedtime now. Thank you everybody for joining us on PM and the PM, a special Nintendo episode of PM and the PM where we don't sit here and praise Nintendo outside of saying that they did a pretty damn good job up to the point of the game prices and a couple other things. They did a pretty good job here with the Switch 2. And again, I'm not gonna judge you if you go get one. I understand why, but we did have a lot to talk about when it comes to the game prices because it is a big thing. And again, it is going to have ripple effects in this industry. I don't want to see this industry go down this road. I think it will get to a point where it does cause a problem and we do contract in this industry. Might be a good thing at the end of the day. I've talked about that too before, but I'm not going to sit back and say, that's fine. I'm just not going to do that. And neither is math. So anyways, thank you all for joining us on this episode of PM and the PM. Another Thursday night in the books. Appreciate you all so much. Again, whether you're listening to us live or whether you listen to us in the future, whether you listen to us for 5 minutes and say these guys are idiots and leave, or stay the entire show and say, you guys are all right. We love you all the same. Nothing but love and respect for coming out and supporting the show. So Mav, thanks, brother, for another good night. Again, I did feel rusty tonight, but I'm glad we had the conversation we did about Nintendo. And what do you got coming up? We're doing Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night. What do we got going on?
Got Xbox Ultimate tomorrow. We'll have some more conversations about South and Midnight reviews and stuff like that,
Yes.
and maybe what other Xbox games will have coming to that Switch 2 as well. Maybe. Just trying to think about what we're talk about. Other than that, yeah, we got maybe some streams this weekend and FSP on Monday. That's
Awesome.
it. Paul.
Awesome.
What about you, sir?
Yeah. So I should be there for Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night. I don't think I'm gonna have a problem. So I should be there. Again, knock on wood. Again, sometimes I jinx myself, but I should be there tomorrow night. So I will be there for Xbox Ultimate right here, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time for that. Join in. Like Mav said, we'll have some more discussion outside of Nintendo. There are some other things to talk about. Doom got some previews too. Some new information on Doom, which, oh man, that might be up there on my list, bro.
Oh yeah.
The way that's playing too, it's not all. I like run and gun Doom, but man, having a chance to sit and parry and shit might be kind of fun, man. I'm just saying. So we'll talk about some stuff tomorrow night where the family gets together. Never know how many of us are going to be there, but we always have lots of laughs and lots of good conversations about gaming. So join us for Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night. And then Saturday, it is looking like we are back. Living split screen. Steel has got the family moved into the new place, semi settled in. You guys that have moved, and if you've moved families, you know it does take a bit. It doesn't, you don't think it's going to take long. It takes quite a long time to start settling in. But it looks like we are going to be back Saturday morning for Living Split Screen. Missed you all these past couple Saturdays. Steele and I are chomping at the bit to get together and talk about some of these topics. Steele is going to come in. You know, he was tweeting out. He was tweeting out. He was talking that shit just like Mav was about Nintendo. So we're gonna have some fun times on Saturday morning. Living Split Screen, all one word, 9 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. Saturday mornings, Living Split Screen. Steele and myself will go live, raw, and uncut. So join us. It's usually, we'll see what's going on Saturday, but usually 3+ hours. We will be back this Saturday by the looks of it. Shop podcast is still on hiatus, but keep your eyes and ears open. As soon as that changes, we will let you know. And then otherwise, next week it starts all over again. Double Barrel Games, the channel. Boomsticks the man every Tuesday. Does it 5 days a week, but Tuesdays is All Good Things Green and the Xbox Factor podcast. He's been killing it. Shout out to Boom. 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Show up for that crew. And then again, God willing, right back here for another episode of PM and the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM next Thursday night. It is the golden age of gaming, people. So please, whatever you're playing, and there's a ton of it, get out there, enjoy it, play what you love what you play. Have a great Friday. Have a great start to your weekend if you're across the pond. Love you all. We'll talk to you all real soon. Mav, get us out of here, brother.
Peace out, everyone. Bye-bye.